My name is Jeff Sailing. Thanks for being part of Demo Day here at Incubate Vegas. Today's the 11th session of our second cohort of Incubate Vegas. And it's a program that's sponsored by Clark County that helps founders in the sort of the idea phase of their company and to understand the journey from that idea to raising capital. So Demo Day today is like a final essay for the course where founders incorporate all the lessons from the previous 10 weeks into an 8-minute pitch. It doesn't have to be 8 minutes, but no longer than 8 minutes of their business, to pitch of their business. In addition to the 8-minute pitch, Maggie and Rakshana and I may ask some additional questions of the entrepreneur. The goal of the pitch is to have a potential investor say they're curious. They want to ask some more questions. They want to have another meeting. And as members of the community that are hearing these pitches today and the responses from the initial Q&A that we do, think to yourselves, if the founder puts you in that sort of curious frame of mind, and if they have, we call that a successful pitch. So what happens after today? So at StartUpNV, we have 2 programs, Incubate NV and a Founder University, to help entrepreneurs in the Incubate Vegas program take the most logical next and productive next steps in the process. So look out for that. We can help you get signed up for those programs. They're running concurrently at nearly all times. There's a little break here during the holidays, but after that, we'll get right back to business. So as the founders pitching today learned, the entrepreneurial journey is not an easy one, nor is it a short one. So it takes courage and fortitude. And Demo Day and pitching is just one way to demonstrate those traits. So congratulations to the founders pitching today for making it here. Thank you for demonstrating your courage to all that are part of this program and to all who may be watching today or watching the recordings later. Not only are you putting your idea out there for all of us to see, but you're taking questions and criticism. That's not an easy thing. So thank you to everybody here and everybody online for doing that. So we have Rachel from Clark County, who's going to come up and say a few words, and then we're going to get started with Jared, who's here, if he's online. Jared, you're up first, and JJ Vanny is up second.
Okay.
Right there, talk to the camera.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Rachel Flores. I'm an economic development specialist with Clark County. As Jeff mentioned, we're the sponsors of this program, and I want to congratulate all of you for taking your first entrepreneurial step. The wonderful thing about entrepreneurship is that there's never a right or wrong time to do it, and everyone gets to carve out their path as to how to discover that, what their journey is going to look like. So we're very excited as Clark County to be part of your journey and help you get started. Really, this is a new program for us, so we're super excited. We're glad that you participated. And if you have any thoughts, ideas, or things of what we could do, change, or improve to reach out to people like you and other people who are interested in becoming and starting their own journey, we're happy to hear it. And, good luck. And we're excited to see what you guys have. Thank you.
Okay. So I think we have an order of pitching, and I don't know whether everybody's expected to be here or if you know who's online.
So yes, expected to be here, but with the traffic, we're not
Yeah, it's been a little
exactly
crazy with the
happening.
Santa run. I don't think that we expected to have the Santa run.
No, we definitely did. So let's start with. Oh, you want to? Okay, cool. No, we can do whoever wants to go first. I love it. Okay.
John's gonna go first.
Okay, John, since you're standing up, you have volunteered. Got it.
Presentation.
Is the one that we already have. Okay, John, what I need you to do is tell me when to go to the next slide.
Okay, fantastic. Can do that. Where do you want me to stand relative?
Right where Jeff was, right.
Right at the podium. I'm a wanderer. You guys know I'm a business anyway. So, all right, fantastic. So, hopefully everybody can see me on the screen. My name is John Niethoff. I founded a company called Deets Enterprises. We're focused on cyber and space. Getting a little more specific for the purpose of this exercise, we're focused on ethical hacking of space systems with artificial intelligence. Next slide, please.
All right, 1 second. Okay.
You're good. So first of all, what is the problem here? Our space systems right now are facing cyber risks. I mean, this is now a well-documented problem that we've encountered here. We've seen it in the news. We've seen it in Ukraine, as a matter of fact, before the start of hostilities. And one of the things that came out of some of these conferences, such as Black Hat and DEF CON that we just had this year, just a few months ago, these systems are rather easy to hack. So it's a major problem. So one of the solutions that we can employ is, looking for ethical hackers, people to actually go in and find some of the vulnerabilities before the adversaries do. In this particular case, what we're starting to see is more and more starting to integrate products such as GPT-4 or GPT 3.5 at this point into some of our ethical hacking tools to make this happen. It's only going to continue to build from there. Slide, please. So what does the market look like? So right now at the top level for the total addressable market, it's 2.0, it's $2 trillion. That's a big figure. That was one that McKinsey and Company came up with for cyber solutions worldwide. Not particularly applicable to us. For a serviceable addressable market, we're closer to about $20 billion. And that is basically across the United States for business conducting within that next code of 541519. And now you start getting a little bit down into your serviceable obtainable market here, where I've got it as a min, and a max. You're going to see there's quite a bit of a difference there between the minimum and the mid there, as opposed to the max. And that's because with a lot of US government business, what you see is you really see a hockey stick where companies are just barely making it. They're in the ramen noodle time for the first couple of years. Then they start getting a few little contracts and bam, all of a sudden they get a major contract for like 30, 40, 50, 60 million dollars. That's the way it happens. I've seen that hockey stick again and again. Next slide, please. So who are our competitors? Well, I'm sure we've got competitors which I don't know about within your major prime contractors. But what we're seeing here, what I know specifically for people who we know for a fact have experience in hacking satellite communications, are the Hack-A-Sac 4 finalists here in Las Vegas here in the month of August. These were the 5 teams from all over the world. You had teams from Italy, from Poland, from one from the United States, and one from Germany, as a matter of fact, too. So they do have experience with actually conducting some exercises with hacking an on-orbit, low Earth orbit satellite that was actually launched up there by the United States Air Force. Now, what can we do? Great organizations, great groups of hackers. These enterprises, we are based here in the United States. We are a SBA certified service-disabled veteran-owned small business, and we do have all the tickets we need to do business with the United States government. So are they really competitors or are they prospective partners? Next slide, please. So what is our business model here? It's primarily going to be engaging with the United States government, engaging with aerospace and defense. So what we're looking at, it's going to be a sequential approach to this. We're going to shape some of those SIBR requirements, so small business innovation research requirements to get our foot in the door. So that's anywhere from I would say, I know exactly what it is. 275K, about $2 million, basically what that looks like. You're building those competitive teams. You're building teams potentially incorporating with the small business as the prime, incorporating some of your big business, as well as reaching out to other of those bespoke small businesses that can provide some unique capabilities. Then you start looking at the small business set-aside contracts. Those are set up for organizations such as mine to pursue and to win, and also evaluate some of the unrestricted ones to see if there's something that we could potentially win and compete with the likes of Lockheed Martin, my old company, SAIC, et cetera. So what happens after that? Well, at first it's going to be a little bit of a services play, but then as we're building those models there, that's when we can start to productize and develop productize and sell those artificial intelligence models. And those would be something similar to what I did with my old company, QTech Solutions Incorporated, where we basically did annual subscriptions directly to the United States government and also to your big aerospace and defense primes, as well as within petroleum industry and a couple of other market verticals there. Next slide, please. So what are we looking at for traction right now? And I have StartUpNV to thank for this, which is engaged with the National Science Foundation. We did submit right before the deadline. There was definitely method to the madness there on 31 October. What we got was they were interested, but we just found out yesterday that they said, hey, we need more information. So they declined. They said, hey, not sufficiently articulated. It looks like an extension rather than some big, high-risk technological innovation. Not a problem. I've already been coordinated with the University of Nevada Reno folks there. We're going to go ahead and we're going to recraft that. We're going to resubmit it after 9 January when the window opens yet again. What we've also been doing is we've been engaging with DARPA. They've got this big challenge called the Artificial Intelligence Cyber Challenge that they brought up at both Black Hat and at DEF CON this year. They're getting a lot of traction with that. They want companies to participate. That's also been delayed a little bit, but paradoxically, that could work out to our advantage because now we've got a little more time to both shape our technical solution for the NSF and for DARPA. The next one I have is, still from my Lockheed Martin space days, I absolutely have contacts with the United States Space Force and the United States Space Command now, where I continue to percolate and make them aware of this concept. Next slide, please.
Oh, sorry.
So who's our team going to be? I don't have people identified just yet. These are organizations that we're looking at. They're organizations that we're already teaming with. We're looking to do this founder-led for now. With investor and board guidance and oversight. So that's why I have StartUpNV on there. I would love to partner with you guys on this. I'm already engaging with universities, UNLV and UNR Reno. They're here accelerating for growth and entrepreneurship. And from a veterans perspective, I'm engaging quite a bit with, extensively with AFCEA. I'm one of their corporate members, and I've been a part of their mentor protege program as well. So what are we really looking to do with this organization? We're looking to engage combatants. We're looking to engage veterans. So we want to grow. We really do want to grow this enterprise and help understand, help them diversify the industry base here in the state of Nevada. Next slide, please. So what are we looking at right now? Bit of a placeholder is 200K right there. I'm looking for a little bit more information before I go into a detailed ask for a raise. Right now, what's our top priority? We need to win and we need to excel, not just win, but also excel at those United States government contracts. So I'm looking for folks who can first help flesh out some additional expertise. I don't know everything. I first acknowledge that to develop our winning solution. And also we want those proven experts at developing winning United States government proposals. What I also want to make sure of, because we're doing business with the United States government, there are a slew of regulatory requirements that we must abide by, and something that is absolutely near and dear to my heart. Yes, we want to win this business, but at the same time, we want to conduct it with absolutely unassailable integrity. We want to be completely rock solid when it comes to compliance on all fronts. Next slide, please. So anyway, thank you very much for your consideration today. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, you ready for?
Rachel, the question is that.
Yes, please.
How do you win? What is the service that you're offering?
It's for the United States. It's the contracts with the United States government. So what they're doing,
What is the service that you're offering and how much revenue you're bringing?
it's research, professional services. What you're looking at is anywhere from 275K, which is the number that NSF provides, and then up to about $2 million. Following that, that's a services piece. The U.S. government pays quite a bit for professional services. Following that, then we're starting looking at more of a product play once we start actually building out some of those models, and then we can sell it back into the government at that point.
You would be hiring hackers to contract, that's almost like a professional business. It's like you contract hackers and then they go into and do the research for the government.
Yes, and so there's a variety of different ways you could do this. You can either hire them directly and they provide butts to seats professional services type deal or on a project type basis, or I can actually reach out and contract with them and sort of like a 1099 construct and then bill them. Yeah, so
how many contractors are you looking to hire probably this year?
that is 1000% dependent on what we win and how we're able to basically program a budget for that. So if we do win, what I was looking at for NSF, here was kind of my vision here with the NSF. So 275K was what we're shooting for. So certainly we'd want to not necessarily hire, but again, contracting on an hourly basis, bringing in some absolute rock solid experts in cybersecurity, rock solid experts in ethical hacking and AI, that sort of thing. And what I was also looking to do, I was looking to engage the universities and get some of those young hard chargers here at University of Nevada, Las Vegas and University of Nevada, Reno to provide essentially paid internships and that sort of thing. Because what I'm really looking to do, I'm looking at this from multiple fronts. I don't just want to engage the seriously experienced folks. We've got an absolute pressing need across the United States and across the world for the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. Right now, people want to pay for people who have 5 years of experience. Well, that doesn't apply to somebody who's just coming out of UNLV with their undergrad. They don't have 5 years of experience.
Is this are you looking to start a nonprofit sort of foundation or an actual business?
This is an actual business. This is a for-profit organization. It's a limited liability company, SBA certified, service disabled veteran small business.
For the 275, if you were to get the award, how many contractors would you be able to hire with that, even if it's just say they were students?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, it just depends on what kind of spread I'd be looking at. So I would not necessarily be hiring anybody as an FTE. I would be hiring essentially buying people by the drink from an hourly basis
Right.
as contractors. Yeah.
What's the average?
Jeez.
Try to get a sense of where the overhead would be, and we would get at 275.
Okay, so let's see. So, geez, from an hourly bill rate, maybe, what's competitive? Well, I guess you guys tell me what's competitive. What's fair? Here's a good question. Now, what's fair hourly rate for a student intern between junior and senior year?
$3 an hour.
$60 an hour? Well, there we go. Then I'd get a bunch of people at $60 an hour and maybe buy, a couple of people at anywhere from, let's see, what do ethical hackers go at from the US government rate? Anywhere from, I would say, 75 to 200 an hour. That's US government rates, that's GSA rates.
No, might be 18. I think the new program that UNLV has, their STEM program where they're working with small companies.
Yeah,
I think it's $18 an hour that they pay, which is granted.
right.
So you might have an avenue of going.
That would like, see, 18, I could get it. So you guys are kind of picking up on my vision, and you got a couple of people who are absolutely deeply experienced in this sort of thing, mentoring a whole crew of next generation type folks coming in. So yeah, so probably a couple of people at anywhere from 75 to, geez, off the top of my head, I think it's like
Well, I
228.
think the bigger question I have is, do you have a budget for the 275 that you're taking?
Before that, yeah, if you back it up a slide, no, not yet. So, yeah, so right now, the way that it worked with the NSF is you pitch, you provide a project pitch, they decide that they're interested, and that's when you come back to them with the full proposal to include labor rates, to include FTEs, to include things like that. So what I submitted to the NSF, what I'll submit again to the NSF after 9 January, essentially is, here's a 2 or 3 page write-up. This is kind of what we're thinking. Are you interested in NSF? If they say yes, they come back, and then we do the detailed technical proposal, the detailed cost proposal, et cetera.
Jeff has a question.
Yes, sir.
So, nice job.
Thank you.
For all, I'm a mostly retired tech executive for a company and startups, and doing a lot of angel investing in startups. So it's the perspective I come from, just an angel investor. So you're asking for a raise. How do I ever get my money? So before you answer that, right? So you're going to take juniors in college, just juniors. You're going to create this amazing capability that no one else can do. The government's going to hire you to do it. You're going to build a multi-million-dollar entity.
Yes.
How do you then, how do I get my money? How do you 10%? 200 grand there, which but I don't.
Neither do I.
Money. What's your exit? What's that going to look like? How do you scale a professional services business just by hiring interns in college? That whole thing. Is it coming together for these?
Right. Well, and I'll say right away, so the last company that I hadn't sold was actually a software services company. So I understand exactly where you're coming from relative to professional services. It doesn't necessarily have the same multiple. And that's why I was looking to ultimately, build into the SaaS space as we start to develop models. For the professional services, the way you get your money back is we would exit through acquisition, either to your major primes, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, or to your major CETA organizations, systems engineering, technical assistance organizations such as SAI.
So it's an acqui-hire, so you're not
That's
really
right.
creating any proprietary software. Nothing protected, of course. For an acqui-hire. You want your roster, and you want somebody to buy those.
Hopefully we're actually able to. Now you'll see like some of the stuff that we're using thus far is like on my very first slide that a lot of it is that stuff I need to figure out with regards to the actual software play of it, because a lot of the stuff that we currently use for ethical hacking is open source. It's available. I can get, and as a matter of fact, I did for that. I've actually done the integration with GPT-3 and Kali Linux as a proof of concept. Kali Linux is open source. So it's like, how do you necessarily build something that's proprietary secret sauce that I could then turn around and sell as a software product? And I don't have the answer yet. I just don't know yet.
So are you project-based? Are you managed services, or are you staff augment?
Project-based, well, so that very first one, so I would say project-based, absolutely 100% first straight away. Now, it starts to look, a lot of times if you get these big enough contracts, it starts looking like staff aug.
Yeah.
And so if I was to get into, now more Syscom out in San Diego, it's project-based, but at the same time, it looks like Snap-on.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's not peer, and again, I love the league, don't get me wrong, I love professional services, but the idea would be you start it, you get in the door, and then you actually start to build the product as you go through.
Okay.
Yeah. Fire away.
John, I suggest that you might, when you look at the potential candidates for recruitment.
Yes.
And recruiters, you broaden your scope and particularly look at the rehab.
Okay.
SQs like PETA, which were essentially local rehab as well.
Yeah.
And non-traditional students. And they, if PETA, for example, what we got as well, they literally have funded already to educate people on the anti-forces things like cybersecurity.
Yes.
And why. So when, each third you can look at UNR and UNLV and foreign institutions, but didn't even mention CFN. And I also realized when we have in this town, there are a lot of sophisticated people that didn't go to college that are working through the ecosystems like in the call centers. For example, through India supply chain and the others. So I wouldn't limit yourself to the digital institutions, particularly.
You're right. You're right. And actually, thank you very much for bringing that point up. Because a lot of things, what people need to realize is that cybersecurity isn't necessarily that something that requires a 4-year degree. And what I don't want to do, and you bring up a very good point, is right now, I think, I'm not just talking about the state of Nevada or the city of Las Vegas or Clark County, I'm talking about across the United States. I think we're leaving a lot of really capable talent on the, exactly, we're leaving them on the table. The fact is that you don't need a university degree to do cybersecurity. You don't. I mean, you could do.
And follow up for the comments.
Well, we have time for more questions. Sorry, John.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the opportunity.
So hey everyone, my name is JJ. I'm really excited to talk about Check It and sports ecosystem, a mobile application that I'm working. Oh, there we go. So the idea of Check It came about during my time as a baseball instructor. That was really the start of a lot of these cool tools being introduced to the sports market, such as video analysis, object tracking, scheduling, recruiting, live streaming games, team stat man, and there's so much more out there. But even during that time, I thought with all these tools being so cool, I thought about how cool would it be to connect a video analysis to a particular stat, to see the correlation between that or this or that data set. So for me, when I was looking out, I didn't see a platform that did that exactly. So for me, my problem that I see is that there isn't a platform that connects or has even built all these solutions on one platform to strengthen the value of the data, but also bring synergy to all these groups within the sports ecosystem. So what is the sports ecosystem, right? It's not a term that you've probably ever heard. For us, we define it into 3 groups. You have athletes and parents, instructors and trainers, and then you have teams. So with that said, that's a pretty big problem to solve, right? So for us, we're looking at taking a very lean approach and focusing on building our MVP. And for us, we wanted to concentrate on expanding the current relationships between athletes and trainers. And the reason for that is because it is the longest and strongest relationship in the whole sports life cycle. A good analogy I personally like to use is kind of like a doctor. You have the doctor or the barber, your hairstylist. Once we have that person you trust in, you're not thinking about going to anybody else unless something crazy happens or you just get outbid or outpriced. So for us, we had to look at what problems are these trainers and athletes running into when it comes to working with one another. And on the trainer side, it's really, they're restricted by the facility and just schedule, which then limits the only option is providing an in-person service option for athletes. Another thing is market inflation. It's hitting all of us, right? But when it comes to this, right, when the rent goes up, trainers unfortunately have to raise their prices, which then of course trickles down for the athletes and parents. And unfortunately, even though they have a strong relationship, if they get outbid or outpriced, they might lose that customer. And then lastly, observability. Trainers want to be able to observe their athletes outside of the face-to-face lesson. And of course, athletes and parents, because of this relationship being so strong, they would love to bring their trainer everywhere they could go. But that's not very realistic because, of course, trainers, they have their own lives, they have their own responsibilities. So that's not very realistic. So for us, our MVP, we're really focusing on building a business SaaS product focused on helping these trainers really run their business through our mobile application. A couple of features that we're looking to build within this product. We're looking to build an online scheduler. Of course, still book in-person lessons. That's still the most valued thing out there. But also provide a secondary service option that is going to be a little bit more affordable. And that's with the online lessons. So there's going to be two forms of online lessons. One is going to be the typical Zoom style meeting kind of call setup. But the one I'm really excited about, which is actually a feature that is not any other online scheduler out there, is our online video analysis lesson. You see the kind of image here of our UI. The walkthrough for this is that clients, they'll be able to capture their game or practice capture it on the video. Then from there, send that video to their instructor. The instructor will then be able to analyze it for a certain price, send it back to the client for them to review to get ready for the next game or practice. This solution really hits those three problems I was talking about, being able to expand outside of the actual facility, providing a secondary service option, a lower priced option, and helping with just observability outside of the in-person lesson. And then also combat helping with observability is our solution 3 that you see here. Every user will be able to have a profile where they'll be able to store and share videos and have a newsfeed style so that trainers will literally see all the videos on there to make sure they're just watching the progress of their athlete. So our target market, we're just focusing on sports training because that's our just main MVP as of right now. So for us, and since we are a mobile application, I don't see why we can't think globally. So our TAM is the worldwide market where we're looking at $11 billion growth rate of 5.7. Our SAM is just the US market at 3.3 billion with a growth rate of 4.2. And our SOM, we're estimating this within 5 years. We believe that we could generate $31 billion in revenue, mainly through the online scheduling transactions we get ran through our mobile application. So our competition, I kind of broke it down to kind of 3 as of right now. We're looking at video analysis tools, online schedulers, and there's applications out there where trainers could just make a workout plan and sell it. OnForm and Coaches Now are video analysis tools. So as you see here, of course, they have those features included. However, they're not helping trainers expand their business at all. And that's where we come in and help play. Online schedulers, Vigero, you see here, any other online schedulers, of course, they help with revenue generation, scheduling, booking, but they don't have the video analysis tech that we would have. And Passion.io, this is the application where trainers can create a workout plan and people can just purchase that. So our business model is pretty simple. There's going to be 2 main revenue streams. One is going to be subscription-based, and then the other one is, of course, going to be those transactions that are for all the lessons and things like that within here. Our goal is to make Check-It accessible. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to use this platform. So everybody will be able to have a chance to sign up for a free account, and depending on their needs, either if they're an athlete or the business, they'll be able to upgrade to be able to do that. Our marketing strategy, if we were given some funding, we'll be focusing on targeting towards instructors and trainers. The reason for that is because we believe for every trainer and instructor that we get to sign up on our platform, we'll be able to get 10 of their clients to sign up as well, creating the growth of the product and being able to use the product consistently. And within our marketing budget, we're focusing on using social media marketing, mainly because we want to find instructors and trainers that are currently actually using their phone, right? They're either using it for marketing or they're just used to it. So it's just our sell is hey, you're already on your phone already. Let's run your business through your phone as well with our application. And of course, word of mouth is huge, in any market, sports in particular, everybody likes to talk. So we're planning on creating a referral program. So for every new user invite that gets accepted, you'll be able to earn more video storage for your profile. This is the team. Again, I'm JJ. Used to be a private instructor. I'm currently a data analytics engineer for Dotdash Meredith. And prior to that, I was working for the Oakland Athletics front office, where I was kind of the lead for the online ticketing user experience and education. My friend Will, he works for Cisco. He's a security development engineer and has an MBA in computer science. He's definitely the more technical person on the team. Our ask, we're really just trying to get this thing up and running a lot faster. So we're looking for like 50K. 30K of that we'll be working with an agency, or based off of what we heard today, potentially helping some students out, creating our revenue streams, and creating that back end for even like the scheduling payouts. We're estimating the work to be 3 to 4 months, and any unused money, we'll be able to transition that to our marketing budget. We're looking around like 15K. And lastly, the remaining 5K just for operational needs, legal, accounting, any other miscellaneous needs, things like that. Oh, and also, mentorship. Love to have some mentorship, but of course, I don't want to waste anybody's time as of right now. So looking to, if we're able to get some funding at some point, I'd love to be able to talk to somebody more about this stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much check it. Thank you. Yeah.
Any questions in the room?
Is it just for baseball or is it for other sports too?
Right now, I'm focusing on baseball, but I'm not limited. I don't want to be limited to just baseball. So there's golf, basketball, soccer, but like the beauty with baseball is that, especially when it comes to this video analysis, I know that's there. The interaction between basketball and soccer and even football, it's very different. So that's why, like, I'm starting with baseball because I know this, but that's part of the whole MVP is I want to learn what that interaction is like, because even though baseball is a team sport, it's a lot of one-on-one, right? Pitcher, batter, but basketball, football, soccer, yeah, and capturing that video is very different than baseball.
It's really good. I really like it. Really good pitch.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God, thank you.
Two more suggestions and questions.
Yeah.
The first one is there's a book called The Cold Start Problem by Andrew Chen. He's a guy from NBC Marvelous, and it talks about two-sided networks.
Okay.
And how do you bring two sides together in the same place at the same time?
Okay.
Because you get all kinds of trainers signed up, but if there's no kids, you get all kinds of kids signed up and trainers. How do you do that? It's an amazing book.
Yeah.
Really knows the stuff. It's all about Uber and how they start. It's fabulous. I just
Yeah.
read it.
What's it called again?
It's called The Cold Start Problem.
Cold Start Problem. Okay. I'll look into that. But yeah, that's
So the second thing is very tactical. When you, so I'm pretty familiar with this whole thing. I raised a couple of kids in sports. My best friend's son did baseball at Georgetown. So I watched him for years, literally, with all of this crazy stuff between trainers and him scheduling the team. So I envisioned when we started an ecosystem slide. We can talk about it in detail.
yeah, no, absolutely.
Where you bring all these concentric circles because you missed the clubs, the facilities, the scouts, the technology platforms, max preps, the website. This thing is massive. All this stuff comes together, right? And you're saying nobody's in the center of it to bring it. So I have a whole story.
No, I mean, dude, that's it. So originally, kind of working on the story, right? And when I thought about this, exactly what you're talking about. So it was just more just a slide. I didn't include it, but I thought about like the end goal, like 10, 15 years. I want this to be the LinkedIn of sports. But the way I'm attacking the problem is it's kind of backwards the way LinkedIn did it, where LinkedIn started with the network connection. And for me, the way I view this problem, in order to build this massive network, I have to change kind of the way of thinking when it comes to users and people, because right now it's when you capture video, it's, on the athlete level, it's like, I'm gonna put it to IG or I'm gonna social media, right? Or even parents. But that's why it was important to figure out the connection of this whole ecosystem, which is the strongest to it. Because I know that athletes and parents are always looking for the instructor's feedback, right? Without the user really knowing it, they're the habit of like, okay, now I'm going to post because I want, I'll use myself as an example, because I want JJ to see it. in time, that is gonna like literally train the user and all these people on this network to be like, okay, I need a post, which then goes to everything that you were just talking about, so on and forth. So
Let me repeat back to you what I think I just heard you say. LinkedIn started as a network first and then became transaction. You want to do the opposite. You want to be the LinkedIn eventually, but you're starting with the transactions between trainers and kids, and then you're going to build a network to be LinkedIn. That's your story.
exactly, yep, that's exactly how I'm trying to go about this problem. And of course, learn along the way of what comes first and things like that.
Rachel, I have a question. So, yeah, really amazing job with that page. It's really great.
Thank you, yeah.
It's really good. I have like 2 questions. One, first one is the video analysis. Is that done through AI or what?
No, so what I want this to be is, I want to help trainers and instructors grow their business. So they will literally, so like they'll be able to use this drawing tool, choose the different shapes, break it down frame by frame and draw it, do a voice recording over it, send it back. So I don't want to take away from these instructors. However, in time, AI will play a part of it when we're talking about, especially with baseball.
Yeah.
And the stats are huge because it's like, what's the spin rate of the baseball? What's the batting and things like that. We plan on implementing that like in later like features, but right now we're just including the basics as of right now to then go to, hey, what? Yeah, so it's, yeah, and the way we're doing, which is a little different than the other guys, and this is the work of Will, is that the other 2 video analysis, and that's why I have it like here, all they're doing is like, they have those tools and then they screen capture it. So basically what's happening is that for every video analysis done, it's duplicating that video. The way we have our technology set up is that here's the video, here we have the database for like the analysis, the voiceover, and instead of doubling that video, we're like connecting these things. So then really at the end of the day, it's increasing the value per like gigabyte, because it's not doubling. So they like people will literally be able to get more with what we're offering.
So one suggestion I may have is as a partner, you may look at phone video companies or some things like GoPro or people who are in that space. Because
Yeah.
obviously,
Yep.
there's a lot of investment in the quality of video. So
Yeah.
that might be a natural partnership for you to demo how compatibility by the service.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, if you go to Google, let's say the Google phone and you're like, this is how we're Google phone.
Yeah.
And to do that, I mean, every right out there, is videotaping your child.
Yeah.
And so
it's-
having that prospect might be an opportunity.
Yeah, so like, I've thought about kind of that exact thing because, you know, I don't want to sound like crazy, but like I want it all. So like being able to build, like, to build those products as well, because that's not a legit thing. Where there's actual like technology built to like, analyze like, hey, this is what this is. So like to have it under the Check It brand, and us building it ourselves, or maybe we potentially buy out another company to build it. And that's the future. Now that's down the road. Yeah.
Your adoption process
Yeah.
of having that buy from a camera phone, something that shows like, this is how, one of those integrated into it.
Yeah.
If you look at Google, obviously it's swings getting in half, so that like works above.
Yeah.
I think that could be, as you're growing, if you could land one of those to be like a partnership.
Yeah.
That could be very, give you
Awesome.
that infusion.
No, I love that. I love it. Thank you.
I wanted to make a comment. The baseball, the professional club is coming in Las Vegas. And the A's is known for their analytics.
Yep.
There's even a movie about the
Yeah, my
A's.
fault, yeah.
Right, and is this going to help then?
It could, like for us, I'm looking more just the amateur and at some point getting into recruitment for college and things like that. So, but on the professional level, it's a little bit more difficult. Mainly because they actually, baseball has this thing called MLB BAM. That's like their marketing and they kind of run a lot of the stuff. And even for baseball, they own their own like video. So like in order for us to realistically provide them with this stuff, it would have to be like a sponsorship deal, and then it's like, hey, use our tech at that point. But they kind of already have some of this stuff already, so that's why I'm not too worried about them. I want to be able to make sure that every kid is able to stay with their instructor because of, I mean, that's the beauty of sports, to be honest, right? Sports is really about relationships at the end of the day. And for me, like I was able to learn that when I was growing up. My story was, you know, I was a baseball athlete. I had a baseball instructor named Mike Murphy. And this exact problem when it came to like market inflation hit me to where I loved going to see Murph every Tuesday night at 7:30. Loved it. Because it was my place to learn, it was my place to play baseball. But with the rent going up, unfortunately, my parents weren't able to afford it. And that was I potentially lost that opportunity to stay connected with this guy I looked up to. And luckily I was able to get some help from some friends and still go into Mike Murphy and still get lessons here and there. But if I think about my life and how like different it would be today if I wasn't able to stay connected with Murph. And you know, honestly, it's crazy to say this, but that dude literally like changed my life because of that relationship. I was able to stay connected with him. But if I don't, I honestly don't know who I am today without him. So.
Real quick, have you reached out to the Season Coyotes, the baseball team there, and with some of the other, because they, you know,
Coyotes?
Yeah, the CSN baseball team is nationally known in the college baseball circuit, including some major leaguers that are named brands.
Yeah.
So, they have some high school relationships in baseball, because you know there's several prominent major leaguers that went through the high school system here in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah. But as of right now, we haven't really reached out to any teams. There are solutions that we are providing teams can use. So it's not that they won't be able to use it. However, our concentration is just a relationship between athletes and trainers.
Well, yeah, I just meant between the local community college baseball team and their trainers. And high school trainers would be a really good tell market.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here and share with you all what my team is working on. Thank you to StartUpNV, Maggie, Jeff, and everyone that I've got to, hang out with and work with over the last 10 weeks. So welcome to Nightlife Technologies, where we're poised to redefine the nightlife experience and ready to unveil a solution that bridges the gap between patrons and venues. I was supposed to have an assistant today, my child, to do my slides. So we'll talk about the patron's dilemma first. Within building this business, a lot of the pains are from personal experience and just, going out and understanding, what the consumer is going through when they're going out to, go to nightclubs, bars, venues to have a good time and start building their memories. So meet Emily. Emily here is a New Yorker who loves nightlife, but dreads the hassle of event discovery. And she's tired of ambiguous answers from promoters, unpredictable minimum spends, and waiting out in the cold while she's trying to get into a nightclub or a bar. Emily seeks a streamlined way to discover and access the best venues directly. That is absolutely a huge problem, especially if you're traveling and you don't know where to go. You're kind of reliant on, asking a friend that may live in that city, or you may look at, Google, and sometimes those things aren't always updated. And no one wants to wait in the cold, right? You want to show up, you want to go, and no one wants to wait in the heat either. So definitely that's a discomfort that we would like to solve as well. So on the other side is the venue challenges. The venues definitely face a lot of challenges. I think living here in Vegas, you see these beautiful mega clubs that we have, and, they do a really good job at running them. I am a firm believer that you can always improve upon things. And so, that's what we definitely are trying to help as well. Inventory and staff management are definitely issues. On an inventory side, I have been to a nightclub where I have ordered Beefeater gin, and when I put my order in, we're having a great time. We're, waiting for our liquor, and they come back and they're like, I'm sorry, we're out. To me, that's unacceptable as far as, you know what you want, and that's what you want to drink. And when they don't have it, that arises as a problem. And it does happen more often than most people think. On the staff management issue side, sometimes I would say in smaller markets, not so much here in Vegas because, well, we're a powerhouse, we run really well. But in other markets, it is a serious problem. You have bottle service girls that come in, they're expecting that they're going to have reservations that are going to show up, and, they're left waiting until, 12 o'clock and their tables show up. Sometimes they don't show up. And then, for them, they're not making any money. And so coming in and, understanding that, staffing is a problem. And then you see venues that are also, having to put out ads that we're hiring again. Well, if you had something that could help you with those issues, it would definitely change, the staff environment. And that goes into the uncertainty in customer turnout and the revenue. If you don't know if customers are coming in, it does affect your revenue. Concerns about internal efficiency and theft. It does happen, people are people have real problems. Being able to have some system in place where, everything is going through automation, everything is, online, or having, systems in place, solutions in place where, we're turning into, cash is, I don't want to say it's going away, but we're going that way. You can walk into a restaurant and, you can pay for everything, through your phone. And, why not be able to do that, in a nightclub? And then that way, not only are you seeing your money coming in, but you're also, creating that accountability with your staff, and that, hey, you're still going to get our money and so are you. Okay, so Nightlight Technologies offers a groundbreaking platform that transforms, well, we'll call it Club Vibe, their experiences. For Emily, our apps provide reliable event discovery, transparent pricing, and quick venue access. For Club Vibe, or any club, our platform ensures inventory management, reliable reservations, and real-time financial insights. So with our apps that we have, and consumer apps, both in Google Play and iTunes, it allows the consumer to be able to go onto the app, find the events in their area, or if they're traveling. They can also book ahead of time. They can purchase their general admission passes as well. While they're inside the club, they can also reorder, whether it's single drinks, bottles. They can also split pay with their friends. That is a huge one. That came from a personal pain here in Vegas. When you go out with friends, clubs and venues don't want to take 5 credit cards. They want 1. But also you have the problem of, if you're spending a higher amount, it can get flagged for fraud, because you're not usually spending that high amount on that card. And, it kind of dampers the mood of we're having a great time, we're making memories, we're having fun, and they're like, hey, you got tonight, so that definitely, makes it very seamless, makes it very fun, makes it just, a better time. For the clubs, again, we go back to the efficient inventory and reservation management, and then also the financial part of it. We do have a back end where venues can put all of their information in there, from events, their pricing, minimum spends for tables, their general admission, who is the DJ, what is going on with inside that venue for that event. We also have some in-house apps to serve them, to better help them and aid them. A lot of promoters say, oh, you're trying to take it away from us. No, we're really trying to enhance the experience, because promoters are important to clubs. It is a way for them to also market, but also I have seen, in going out and, seeing the pains where the venue doesn't have access to those customers because the promoter does hold on to them. Being able to, remarket to those, customers about your venue is important, but being able to have the information to do that is even more important. So, so these problems are widespread in the $95.33 billion global nightlife market. Nightlife solution caters to a massive audience seeking a better nightlife experience and venues aiming to efficient and profitable operation. I am still working on my TAM sounding song, but I did want to give you kind of an idea. People go out, they go out for various reasons. They go out for bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, for birthdays, just to go out and have a great time, blow off some steam. I do believe that is something, liquor is not going away, I don't think, anytime in the near future. So, there is a huge market and opportunity in this as well. So why nightlife stands out? What sets nightlife apart is our focus on AI-driven personalization for users and POS system integration for venues. This dual approach streamlines the streamlines the experience for patrons and provides venues with invaluable operational insights. So we've heard a lot about like AI, and really what we want to do is be able to collect a lot of data, be able to give that back to venues, because venues really don't collect a lot of data. I have had experiences where, I visit with, venues, and I speak with their owners and, or general managers, and I ask them, what are your numbers? What do they look like? How many people did you have in your venue? How many reservations? How many bottles did you sell? How many reorders did you have? And the answer I usually get is we were sold out. And, I'm like, wow, so what does that mean as to why, explanation? So what we really want to do is, give them a way to be able to see, is weather a factor? Is there an event in the area that's like a sporting event that is going to, is your event for your nightclub or bar going to perform well? There's a lot of different factors that go into this, so we will get over to. Okay, speed up. So here's our nightlife versus competitors. Here's a few things. I know there's a lot of no's, but here's a lot of yeses of what we're trying to do. We are trying to offer a GA monthly option, ordering on consumer apps, reordering capabilities, and then you kind of get into the AI part of it, talent. The talent booking, staffing needs, reordering capabilities, performance predictions, and pricing reordering. A lot of these companies also do a lot of the similar things that we do as well, but I wanted to focus on what we are really driving to do a lot better than what is out there. Okay. So here's our sustainable revenue model. We do charge nominal fees for patrons per booking. So $2 for each general admission. So let's say a club is charging $10 to get in. We charge $2 as a fee that nightlife is bringing in on our part. There are a reservation tier booking and ordering fee ranging from $5 to $20 per table. That is for bottle service reservations. So we will be making the $5 to $20 on top of what they're paying for that reservation. Small operational fees for venues. It's kind of our basic. So if they don't offer, a general admission or reservations, we will charge them $99 a month. And that will be for them to be able to list every event on our platform. The full service is general admission bottle service. We expect to make $2,000 per venue per month. And so that's what that looks like right now. Okay, so currently we are in the developmental phase. We're dedicated to creating a platform that addresses these industry-wide challenges. Our roadmap includes launching and evolving our service based on user feedback. I love talking to my customers and understanding, what are their needs, and aiming to revolutionize the nightlife industry. This is my team. Our team's unique blend of technological innovation and deep industry insights is nightlife's driving force. Tim Bird is our founder and CEO, and myself, Michelle Burnell, and DJ MLK. Tim Bird has been with me for a while, and he has a unparalleled tech and entrepreneurial expertise. He definitely is the engineering tech side and design side of our team, working closely with them to ensure that we have everything that we need and are providing for our users. For me, I've been doing this hospitality and nightlife thing for a while. It's been about 10 years for me. DJ MLK is our co-founder, and he will be the head of our DJ and celebrity relationships. He is the official DJ for the music artist T.I., and he does play in top venues such as Gray's here at the Cromwell, 11 in Miami, and Live in Miami. He is a music producer, and he has some extraordinary connections. We are looking to bring in some celebrity artists for the marketing side of our company, as far as partnerships or ambassadors. And so we are currently working on that as we speak. And yeah. So I do have an envision that if anyone is interested in seeing kind of what the beginning stages looks like of, the creation of our consumer app, if you'd like to look at it, our ask is $375,000 in a pre-seed safe note. And I just want to say thank you for hearing about what I'm working on. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, here is all our information.
Any questions from in the room? That's a question.
Yeah, what's in my background, I actually did promotions here in this apartment, other apartments, we call a movement. And having a tool like yours would be very helpful, not only in terms of dealing with our clients or patrons, but also dealing with some of the venues that we dealt with. So I definitely think you're on something.
Absolutely. That's another thing is that, there's a lot of internal conflict that goes on, especially, when you have a venue and promoters, because I don't want to say there's untruths there, but there can be, you want to be able to know that you're getting paid for the customers that you're bringing in, and venues, may say, oh, well, I don't actually have anything that I can show you. It's just kind of going off of, what you said or what they said. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. So one of my first jobs was at Rain back at the Palms when I first moved to Vegas. And although I love a lot of my promoter friends, they were very shady. Bottle service wasn't the easiest to get. Cost. So there was a lot of that. I mean, I like this. I like that you have, a well-known DJ that actually has that relationship with T.I. If you guys don't know who T.I. is, he's a well-known rapper. Been for a while. So yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What is your ideal customer?
Our ideal customer is about 21 to 35. They are going out on a regular basis. They are men, women looking for, bachelorette parties.
I think it's more your user. I mean,
Yes.
size club.
Size club. Really, it's really broad. I mean, if you look at, bars and lounges, but I would say more general admission is going to pay us the most.
Okay, so it needs to be a bar that does.
General admission.
Okay.
So the super clubs like Dre's, like the, what is it, Omnia?
Yeah. I mean, but also, there are bars that charge a general admission. If you were tagging on, $2 per each transaction, then, it definitely can add up.
So is your app online or live?
Not yet. We're
Ready to go?
No, I mean, not yet. We're in developmental stages. I do have it in Envision. It's built where you can touch through it, but it's not in the app stores yet. We're working on our MVP.
Just from, I don't know much about the promotion aspect, but from the user aspect, having something where everyone can contribute something, you don't have to worry about splitting of day-to-day just interface of that. That is alone, I think, a service.
Services.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree. And I think also from the transparency side of things, I see it a lot here, especially, in Vegas or, in markets where the bottle service is expensive, and so when you're told, hey, it's $1,500 in your mind, you're like, oh, $1,500. And then when you get the bill, especially here, you have live entertainment tax, you have all these taxes, and right away that jumps it up higher.
Yeah, I mean, if I could just get something, if I'm going out, like, okay, it's being invoiced and it's like you will pay automatically. I'm like,
Right.
Better pay, that's not that loans.
Absolutely, yes.
So, I think, well, you have a big vision, so continue, good luck with it.
Thank
A
you.
lot of stuff you mentioned built into one app, so all very cool,
Thank you.
but it's a big lift.
Yes.
And then, as Jeff mentioned before, you have a bit of a cold start problem, right? You got two sides.
Mhm.
You know, usually those marketplaces where there's one of the two sides is scarce,
Right.
right? And people are doing unnatural things to get to the other side of the marketplace. And I don't know which side of yours is that way, but that same book you talked about, the cold start.
Absolutely.
I think
It's
you should be thinking about
absolutely.
how do you solve how you build that both sides.
Right, absolutely. It's like the chicken and the egg, right? And so I think that's where DJ MLK really is going to be, you know, a huge part of that, being able to have those venue contacts, because without the venue, the customers have nowhere to go. But
Customers,
exactly.
It's really quick, it's a suggestion and a question, so it's super in the weeds, pardon me, but I really enjoyed your story about the running out of Beefeater Gin or whatever the scenario is. And there's two companies that I know of, it's probably more, that do bottle top sensors for pouring, or that it's and the connection between a lost sale and the actual inventory of what was poured, right? They do what was poured, the data is there. They don't capture the lost sale. It'd be interesting if we connect. So two companies, one's called Pour It, New York, IT, another one's called Capton, CAPTON, actually going on the news.
Yeah, he's lives up there.
You know, yeah, and
He's a known guy.
Okay.
and they're both kind of early stage growing companies, but there's some connectivity there from the back end that might be really useful to provide to the club itself as a, not just here's what got poured, here's what we missed.
Right, right. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. Yes.
Just a random question that I personally am not like a nightlife person myself, but it's just out of curiosity. Do clubs like track movement at all within there?
No.
Is that like part of the plan? Or is that important at all?
That is part of the plan. I think it's really important to, track your customers, know who's coming in, but also, when are they coming in? What are they coming in for? Is it the DJ? Is it for a celebration, or is it just a night out? But also being able to track the people that are coming with the main guest. So if you have like someone who is reserving a table, you usually don't know who those other people are that are coming with them. But if you can find out who those other people are, then you can market to those people as well.
I mean, like within the club itself, like, is that a thing that they do where it's like, I know, like if someone had a booth, maybe they're not, maybe they are, I don't know. And it's like because of within space, I think that's another aspect of this too. It's like trying to like, of course, get the most bang out of the butt within space with people.
Right.
Is that a realistic opportunity?
I think it could be. I don't have a like answer for that exact question, but it's definitely something that I can look into.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, great question.
I can offer some insight into that. It's not so much the movement of people into it as it is the number of people in comparison to the staffing. What you talked about the staffing and the ability to stabilize the staffing, that's an issue. If we were doing promotions, we lose out on revenue because the venue didn't staff properly, because they were not convinced. We tell them ahead of time, we are going to have this amount of people, this reason why. And because there wasn't a way to prepay, which is what I like about Jamal. So anyway, that's the element aspect of it.
I have a question. Yes. So if I'm drunk in the club, I haven't gotten bottle service yet, and I want bottle service then, because, I'm spending loosely at this point. Can I, is it an on-demand thing too, where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting a table, woo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If there are tables available, yes. And then we also have it worked into where we have a wait list. So if the tables are all booked and then somebody decides to leave, which doesn't really happen a lot, but it could, then the next person in line would be able to have access to that table.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Brandon. And so I'm a local real estate agent here in Vegas. I've spent the past 24 months leasing homes and selling homes. And one of the big problems that I've found is that I ran into a lot of prospective tenants that, have a hard time finding housing because they receive the house voucher, formerly known as Section 8. And so what I noticed while being a leasing agent is that I kept getting the phone calls, but either my manager or the landlord were either uneducated or unwilling to rent or lease to Section 8 tenants. And so, I sought out to kind of start my own things. It's kind of how I ended up at Incubate Vegas. And, through my journey, I've kind of pivoted a few times, but I've landed on something that I believe, I think kind of fits within the program, specificities, but also allows me to kind of better further this mission. So I came up with Simple, and essentially we seek to help good tenants find better housing. Okay, so one of the biggest barriers to entry for people receiving a housing voucher is landlord participation. I know there was an article that came out recently, Southern Nevada Housing Department, they were asking landlords to accept, more of the housing vouchers, which pay the rent essentially at 100%. So the problem, how big is the problem? This is just Nevada, the nationwide issue, but just here in Nevada, there are over 101,000 extremely low income renter households. And so what does that really mean? How do you quantify that? So for every 100 rental homes that are affordable and available, out of these households, only 17 are available to them, right? So when you compound that over the United States, these numbers are kind of astronomical. I believe there's a shortage of 7 million houses that are actually available and affordable, but they're just too far away for that particular renter group. So that's the problem. Landlord participation, a few reasons for the landlord participation is the education piece. A lot of landlords don't really know how the process works. There's a lot of paperwork that's involved with placing a tenant who receives a housing voucher into a property, and just negative attitudes towards Section 8 in general. So the solution is a platform. I really look at it like a complementary platform to what housing departments are already doing. Essentially, what we do is we'll provide tenant screening and also previous rental history verification. We will automate the housing paperwork, provide a renter score, and help homeowners collect the rent all in that. So market opportunity, how big is this market? These numbers represent basically what the annual revenue of a housing voucher would pay out for the United States. And that's $26 billion. So how I got to my SAM number, out of all of the single family homeowners, which there are 22 million in the United States, only 36% of those homeowners actually invest in housing vouchers as a strategy. So I just annualized that number, and I came with my service addressable market at 3.6 billion. And so my beachhead market includes the state of Nevada, California, Arizona, and Texas, and that represents roughly 300,000 potential users. And so at 20% market share, I believe to achieve a revenue of 4 years, $30 million. Take 4 years. But So that's the market opportunity. And so getting into the business model, typically we'll charge an application fee. This is all in app, so we'll charge an application fee per adult. We also charge a tenant placement fee of 10% of the rent, and that's a one-time placement fee, and then a processing fee of 1% of the rent per month, because the rent payments will go through our app directly to the homeowner. Go to market, essentially, our go-to-market strategy right now would be to partner with the local housing authorities and kind of build a database based on their current subset of clients, tenants, and homeowners, build that database out, and then start to market to them via email, phone calls, and even interviews. Competition in the space, I kind of broke it out into like 4 different sections. So you got government websites, so just kind of staying local. Southern Nevada Housing Authority, they have their own website, and so do all of the other the government housing authorities throughout the nation. They have their own websites. So that's one way that homeowners are getting access to this information, and tenants are finding if their property is available. There's platforms that do accept the rent payments, and then you also have specialty sites like affordablehousing.com, which kind of specifically targets the Section 10 housing market. And then you got your typical consumer sites like Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, places like that. So where we kind of fit in is in the middle of all of these groups. So like I said, would like to be a complementary product to what the government's already doing. Also a specialty site because we have a target demographic. Our platform also accepts rent payments, and yeah, we're accessible to the public. So we also are a consumer platform as well. So the team, you have myself, I'm a local realtor founder. Right now, just execution and sales would be my main role. Like I said, I've leased over 200 homes in the past 24 months at Renters Warehouse, which is one of America's largest third-party property management companies. And I co-founded a trucking company with my business partner. His name's Brett. He's in Texas. He's a new dad, so he couldn't be here. But his specialty is project management, sales and leasing. He also worked at Renters Warehouse in Austin, and he co-founded the trucking company with me. And so what we're asking for, just a $85,000 on a 12% safe, and that'll go towards salaries, marketing, legal, administration fees, and just reserves to kind of preserve that runway. And I believe that's it. This is my contact info, and my email address.
Nice work. Any questions from in the room? Ken?
You know, I'm gonna ask, is I've watched you make this journey. Where are you with the development of the platform or the application of the platform?
So in the development, it's still a concept, but yeah, I've talked to a lot of people. So starting out, we'll just build a database, with a simple HubSpot or, CRM, and then building that database, we're able to create probably a consumer journey through the platform to be able to have an MVP to put out there in the real world. So, but housing wise, at least properties all the time. So that's it.
Are you able to get access to inventory by using some of the publicly available information, or do you have to build your own inventory into your own?
So publicly available information,
like on the government websites, or Trulia, or whoever. I mean, in terms of getting inventory for the people you're trying to find housing for.
Yeah. So
or you want to build your own inventory separate.
Gotcha. So two sides, right? They have existing inventory, existing homeowners, and then the other side of it is there are homes on the market right now that I could reach out to a real estate agent and ask them, you know, if the seller who can't sell the property in this market will be willing to lease their property.
I got you.
And so,
So you're hacking it a little bit too.
yeah, so I can kind of hit it and build that inventory.
So you're gonna have the super secret.
I can have the, yeah, well, pocket inventory, pocket listings.
I know that you said one of your targets, housing. Are you familiar with the Housing Justice Alliance, the partners and the rest of the issue points of that?
I'm not.
Okay, and you're connecting with the SIU, and there are a lot of people that are the potential recipients of the Section 8.
Yeah.
So you would, because part of the problem is when Section 8 is awarded, people have to find their own housing most of the time.
Exactly.
So I suggest, and I have those connections, I talk about that with the Nevada Housing Justice Alliance, particularly because, well, I'd like to.
Yeah, so, yeah, the platform we'll have homeowners that accept Section 8 already, and then new homeowners that are willing to would be on the platform. So, you know, if a prospective tenant is looking for housing, they can just go to our site, and we already have a list of homeowners willing to accept their housing.
Yeah, but sometimes get the lead together is the problem. A big percentage of Section 8 recipients can't even.
So, exactly, and that's the reason for the shortage. So, my go-to-market strategy is to target homeowners that they manage their properties themselves. So they have an active role in managing the property. And so the platform essentially just provides the interface where they have access to this tenant information, and they can kind of vet the tenant without wasting anybody's time. Kind of get that.
So you have to go market by market. So we're gonna start in Vegas because you can't try to do Vegas and Boston, Phoenix, and everybody else.
Yeah, so it'll be Vegas to start, and actually, about it, you know, has, I think, the highest amount of extremely low income people that lack housing in the country. So this will be a perfect place to kind of launch and grow from there, and then, you know, kind of move out into other markets. So.
Brandon, can you say that again? That has what? The highest level of
Extremely low income individuals who have the hardest time accessing affordable housing.
Is this just any kind of housing, renting and not buying?
Yeah, this is rental housing specifically.
And Nevada is
They're number one in the nation.
Why is that percent? Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, I think it's on a per capita basis, but yeah. Yeah. Per capita.
Yeah, I think the insight everybody may not appreciate is that we already have an affordable housing challenge in terms of people buying houses. And then that rolls over into the fact that that challenge gets exacerbated when you talk about renting houses.
Yeah. And then even on top of that, there's 1.3 million properties sitting on the market that are available but haven't been sold today. And 734,000 of those properties, according to the Federal Reserve, are vacant and could be used.
So how do you reach those owners? Because that's part of your go-to-market strategy. You're going to reach the owners.
So starting at the housing authority and kind of building that existing network and kind of having a platform that they can use, fill, and then have them kind of a network effect and talk to their friends and family about what's happening.
Any questions, Rachel? Yes.
So, you know, at least I'm gonna give you the government view on this one. One of the challenges from the government side is that even waiting to have inventory or there is inventory in the market, the actual challenges of homeowners with rent not wish to rent. That's a struggle even from a government agency that's regulated.
Yeah.
To actually do that.
Yeah.
How would you overcome that?
So, and I had a similar experience working at Renters Warehouse, and a lot of the time, from my perspective, the issue, and I kind of pivoted. So yesterday, it was about me buying a property and then being the landlord to rent to that particular segment. But what I've noticed is really is education landlord education, so talking to landlords, because I had several instances where I've talked to a landlord and I asked them, would you accept Section 8? A lot of them are just really unaware of how the program works. And then there's a lot of paperwork. And then also to piggyback off that, the property managers, they tell us, the agents, that, hey, we don't accept Section 8. So there's a lot of income discrimination, if you will. So
What a big part of your model depend on, you probably have to have people to explain this to, almost like a salesperson of
yeah,
membership inside of sport. So if there's a high element of education that needs to happen for the user who's actually probably paying, because who's going to pay for your service? Is it the landlord that's paying to rent the store? Is it the tenant that's paying to access the
yeah. So two models. So we'll have we'll collect a application fee. So that'll pay for some of our service, and then we want to sign the homeowner up to access our platform and kind of like the housing authority, help them with the paperwork process.
So what the key for signing up is that sign up free?
Yeah, sign up's free, but to use the platform, we have a cost on.
Great, a lot of education's going to have to go.
A lot of education, yeah, that's the biggest piece, because a lot of people are just really unaware. I think with the tenant scoring model, we can kind of get over that stigma, because that's the biggest piece of it, is just the stigma of people.
Right, but for your standpoint, as the person who's launching, to keep in mind that then it will have a workforce cost that will be higher, and that will have a very direct impact on whether you're successful or not.
It sounds like Rachel could be a mentor for you.
All right.
One of the issues with supply though is all the venture capital firms that bought single family residences and their needs. That so the supply is rapidly dwindling to the ones that might potentially affect section.
Yeah, I helped the company, I can't say their name, but they're out of New York, their hedge fund, they spent $1 billion, right, during when the interest rates were really low. And yeah, we helped them buy the homes, right? So they're looking at their spreads, their margins, what they can get. And when I even at that point, when the housing market kind of changed, interest rates went up, I said, hey, people have housing vouchers that are you're asking rent, but the property manager is like, we're not gonna accept Section 8, so yeah, I tried to push that through. I got a few of it, but there's a lot of work to do in that space.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, guys, just thank you again for, just want to say thanks again for putting on an incredible startup week. Everyone that put this together this week was incredible. So, and the accelerator and StartUpNV, everything has been, super resourceful this whole season. So it's just been incredible. So thank you for everything again. My name is Jared Applewhite, and I'm building an online platform matching you with private chefs on demand for any need or occasion. And we're adding more time to your plate. So as far as, I'm going to start this off with a story or a quick quote from a client that we had during intake. And he said to me that every moment that he's not focused on his work, his family relationships, his personal relationships, his business relationships, or his health, he loses money. And also loses, he has he develops a lack of fulfillment in life. And so what that said to me is that his time is expensive and he values his time very much. And that's very aligned with all of the rest of our customers, our customer base. They realize that life is finite and, tomorrow's not promised. So they decide to, invest in their time and not just spend it. So time is their most valuable their most valuable asset. So what would these people do with, an extra 15 hours a week? Whether that be, imagine how enriched your life would be, your relationships, how much time you would have back to, to earn more or whatever it may be. On average, we spend 12 to 15 hours a week between meal planning, grocery shopping, cooking, and cleaning up the kitchen. And so more time spent, investing time into the things that fulfill your life, that make you feel whole or kind of feed your soul, the better it is for you. So we've unlocked that with unlocking private chefs on demand. So what you do is with us, you've got the ability to get back more time by having everything done for that date night at home, for a dinner party, or a dinner party at your vacation rental or your hotel room or hotel suite, or even if you're looking to get back multiple days a week by putting dinner or lunch on the table. So we give you full transparency into the cost of groceries, into the cost of the service and everything. And this is primarily for time poor people that want to have more time back to spend time with their families or put more time into their businesses. And so we've broken this down into 3 primary memberships. So we've got a la carte and B2B, which are very similar. They're just very different users. A la carte is typically, that's going to be the average person that's looking to kind of have a date night or a dinner party. But at the end of the day, what we do with you guys is we build a profile around you so that every year, say you host Thanksgiving every year and you want a chef to help you out with that. Every year we get better and better at being able to serve you. So we're very customer focused. And then when it comes to B2B, those are going to be, event planners. So they maybe upload multiple users based off of their client base. And we match each and every person with the chef that makes the most sense for their event for that date. The reason why I was late this morning is because we had 2 brunch events this morning. So sorry for that. 2 opposite sides of town too. So that was great. But and then on-demand members, those are going to be for your clients for our clients who are looking for a chef either 1 day a week or up to 4 days a week. So what we do, where we live here for this is we're in the middle of having that needing to have like a private. We're in the middle of those that need to have a private chef, but full time. We unlock the ability to just have it part time. And if you want someone full time, we can absolutely do that. But instead, we can absolutely do that without the need of actually having a full-time employee, paying for benefits and insurances and all that kind of stuff. You just book through our platform, and we started a minimum monthly fee to make sure that you have access to those chefs. So the SAM is about 42% of the total addressable market, and that's just in the US. Our SOM was based off of a 3x multiple of where we expect to be in the next 3 to 5 years. And that's based off of our projections of revenue of where we're at. So we've been in business for about 6 months. And as far as traction goes, we have 5 actual on-demand members right now. And their average spend is 3 times the minimum spend that we require per month. So we're in the middle of kind of deciding which route we want to take with how we offer on-demand memberships as we build our software. So that's why we have the wait list going for the 80. For the average a la carte member, that's around 15. We usually do around 15 people. That's the average booking. So it's around $150 a person on those. And there's usually 3 to 5 course dinners or like a 9-course tasting. B2B members, a good example of these are, during Thanksgiving, we served over 110 people that day. And that's between multiple parties, 60-person party or, a 6-person dinner, 35-person dinner. And so these B2B members, they're the ones that are bringing us these larger deals like this. And these are all inside people's homes. And then as far as vetted supply goes, these are our chefs. So we've tested over 120 chefs, and we've out of those 120 plus, we've actually hired on 19. When I say hired on, they're contracted. As far as competition goes, there is competition out there. They're more so the Airbnb of private chefs. So, it's more of a shopping experience. You kind of go around, you figure out if you like this person, if you like that person. Whereas with us, we're very customer focused on both sides of the marketplace. So we match chefs with the clients versus, based off of the details that you give us versus you going through and shopping. Saves a ton of time on both of our ends and helps us build a lot more loyalty, a lot greater loyalty than you would see with one of these other marketplaces. We're also building tools for chefs to actually manage their business on their own. So vertically integrating software so that they're able to actually, receive leads, book their calendar within it, and then be able to also send menus, things that it's in, et cetera. And aside from that, these other sites are very clunky, very old school. So we've identified 3 core customers so far. And we've doubled down in these areas. Majority of the on-demand members are actually single male. And I would have thought they'd be families, and I think we'll still see more of those coming soon. But in general, we have moved beyond this and started to establish ourselves as a go-to for finding private chefs in Las Vegas. And we've done some through strategic partnerships so far, and those are growing. They connect us directly to the customer, which is great. And then there's of course those B2B relationships that connect us up, by way, through their own channels. But at the end of the day, the customer pays us directly, not through the third party. Piggybacking, if you guys have ever heard of the way that Airbnb got off the ground, or Uber did, was they piggybacked off of Craigslist. And we're doing the same thing with other networks to generate business from those sites as well. And we've also built out a referral and affiliate network too. So that's been our primary driver of traffic and business lately. SEO is happening, of course, if you know about SEO, it takes time for it to build. And social proof is en route as well. So we haven't really done much, in your face marketing, but we've gotten a really good amount of traction from what we've been doing so far. So about my co-founder, Josh is a 15-year private chef. He's got an incredible Rolodex of clientele, and this actually stemmed from him needing to be in multiple places at once. Whether it be a celebrity that's referring in to someone else, he's like, I can't be in Miami in this place, or 5 places in Vegas on one weekend, like F1 weekend or something like that. And these people don't want catered experiences; they want private chef experiences. So, that's where this develops. And beyond that, he's also developed some food concepts that you guys may have heard of. There's some down the street: Greens and Proteins, Skinny Fast, things like that. As far as myself goes, for 10 years leading up to 2020 or COVID, I ran a music festival production company leading up to March of COVID. And we sunset that during COVID. So that was running for 10 years. And currently I operate a growth strategy firm. So I've been operating that for 8 years. I've got a small team. And prior to that, I was director of marketing for what's called the Light Group, which was previously sold to the Hakkasan Group and is now Top Group. So we both got, our respective experience in this space as far as growth goes, as far as building businesses go. And as far as our ask, we're raising a pre-seed at a pre-money of 1.5 million at a pre-seed, a pre-money stake. And you'll see that the majority of that is going to building our own team. So our team is, we're building a luxury product here. It's very high touch, and our customers demand things like yesterday. So as far as making sure that we're able to be on throughout the entire day, we'll be leveraging AI. I know AI is like a cuss word in this space right now, but we'll be leveraging AI to make sure that we're able to help us build out the profiles and everything that we do when we intake clients, but and also conversational commerce and things like that. But it's primarily focused on customer success, and that's as we build out over the next 18 months to position ourselves as a seed target. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you answered this question before, but if you would, then like how many chefs do you have in your umbrella, and a little bit about the process here. Where you started versus where you are now?
So we started with just Josh, and we just started driving more business with him and the contacts that he has. We had a lot of inquiries in the network for vegan chefs, so then we started in that area. We've tested over 120, and now we're at 19. And the process for that is a typical interview process for like you would with a restaurant, but we've built out our own kind of scorecard for vetting these chefs too, because there's a different level of hospitality that you have to have when serving in someone's home. You're in someone's home for 4 to 5 hours versus, you know, being behind the wall of a restaurant. So very different situation, very different scenario. We're also building a curriculum around training them as well. So we've kind of productized that, or we're working on productizing that. We built out the documentation and actually building it into a system.
There's so many different cultures that people love from your perspective. How do you solve for that level of complexity? Like you have a client, like, okay, well, I want to have, I don't know, sushi, then I want to have Mexican, I want to have Italian, and I want to have vegetarian. Is it the same chefs that can cook all of that, or how do you solve it?
Well, this kind of parlays up that question too. So one of the requirements we have is all chefs have to have at least 5 years experience in a scratch kitchen. So that enables them to, you know, at least create pasta from scratch, things like that. Yeah. So finding these different alternatives, I'll be honest with you, right now, it's like if a new inquiry comes in, we go scrambling to find somebody if it's brand new, but we find them. And that's just it, is not all of these guys can, but they are well versed. And if someone wants, you know, going back to Thanksgiving, someone wanted Spanish inspired Thanksgiving for 35 people. And so the first thing we put out was, you know, it was too Spanish for them. It was like on a scale, they were like on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 10. And you scale it back to a 5 or 6, and we did that. So we were able, but we do have a chef that specializes in Spanish style food, and he's a Michelin trained chef as well.
Can we just taste test for you?
Michelle, how do you find your chefs? Like, how did you find them in the beginning? Like, is it through the partners network, or like, how are you scouting them?
You know, right now we're just scouting them online. I mean, literally Google and Facebook and Instagram. And the biggest problem is all these guys, it's hard for them to find more business. So we're adding 20% to, if you're already a private chef, we're adding 20% to your books. If you're not a private chef, you know, we're filling your days off or hoping you request a day off so you can take on this new project because you're making way more money. So it's a little bit of both. Yeah, we're going toe to toe. It's like hand-to-hand combat. Yes.
What do you think is the ideal number of chefs to have in your current work?
Well,
I like.
So right now for on demand, that's really where we want to focus because it's recurring revenue. With 20 chefs, we can serve 200 people. So we can serve 200 members. If we get to that point, I think that's a really good baseline for us to have as far as memberships go. And then that would be, you know, but outside of that, I want to have as many as possible that are qualified for, you know, one-off events and things like that.
And you forgive me, the engineer, me do the quick math. So if I did my quick math correctly, that would be 3 million in gross revenue just from that business line alone.
Yes, sir. That's on the low end. That's not based off of what we're, no. We'll probably see a dip in the average spend per member, but yeah.
How do you go from, I mean, this is a one market at a time thing, right? So you have to have enough in Vegas before you decide to go somewhere else. Are you thinking beyond Las Vegas, or are you just, I'm going to focus on Vegas?
Focus on Vegas first for the next 18 months for sure. You know, but the goal is to be in at least 4 cities. We've already got those cities earmarked. They've got the cities that they're similar to what we see here in Vegas, which is money is moved from San Fran, bigger cities, New York, and they moved here, and they've got extra money to spend, and they're buying businesses, et cetera. And so they've got multiple things going on. That's the psychographic that matches us.
So what are some of the targets beyond Vegas for you?
Reno, Boise, Bozeman, and Denver.
Jeff Earl.
Nice job, by the way.
Thank you.
Your marketing background and capabilities really come out in so much what you're doing. So I have 2 questions. Is most of the activity of transients, visitors in town to see you two in the Sphere, or is it those that live in fancy house? And the second question is, what are your margins? Because obviously you have to pay the chef, you have to buy the food, there's delivery, there's spoils, there's Google credits, when it doesn't show up, blah, blah, blah. how much you should be table for yourselves?
So, to answer your first question, about 10% so far is tourism. But we're looking to open that up more. We're primarily focused on locals right now. And so we've done, and when I say tourism, it's mostly been through Airbnbs, people and they come from our clients, they're members that have multiple Airbnbs that are getting booked out, and then they want to be able to offer to their clients. Margin wise, so we're very transparent. So the cost of groceries and everything, that's all on the client. So we're not marking up any cost of groceries or anything like that. Even at that minimum $1,500 spend, groceries are included in that minimum. Paying the chefs and everything, our margins are actually high. So our take rate is 10 to 40%, and that's based off of the level of chef that they are. So the higher level chef that they are, they've been in the game as far as the private sector goes for a long time. The less we take.
Picture your URL, your name, what kind of branding possibly this guy system. It's kind of a unique name to start.
Oh, vision on a URL? Is it vision?
Yeah, the Couteau.
Couteau?
How did you pick that as your brand?
Yeah, it's French for chef's knife.
That's
So-
not correct.
Not spelled correctly though. Yeah, we Americanized too. But yeah. So and we're live. The website's live and everything. If you were asking about that too, but yeah, it is. We just bought the alternative names too. If anyone wanted to butcher it, we bought those too, just to make sure. No, we butchered it.
Okay. Do you have any questions? No, I think we're good. Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Tanya Fortson. I am co-owner. This is Dolores Reese. We're co-owners of Kindred Spirits Event Designs. We focus on helping, and our platform is to help the planners and people that are having events with their design elements so they don't have to worry about it. We come in and we take care of that problem for them and ease their mind, their concentration, so they can focus on either their event, or they can focus on, if they're the planner, they can focus on the other elements of the event to put the event together.
And with that being said, basically, it's bringing everything you envisioned your special event to be and designing with a purpose. That's what we do. We make your dreams and your vision happen. We make that magic happen in your event. So you can see whatever your fairy tale is, we're here to make that happen for you.
So a lot of planners, they're trying to do a lot of things. They're trying to organize and get the caterers together, the DJs together, the event itself, pull it all together. And a lot of times some of their elements may fall through the cracks because they're so focused on so many other of the elements. They can't focus on what it looks like or how it makes people feel. So they need to have someone that's capable of coming in and taking that load off of them. So that's what we expect to do. And in that element, then they are helping to make their clients happy because they're bringing on people that can help them to elevate their event.
We provide the event planners with timely service. We make sure that everything that they need as far as designing that room or making sure that the vision is carried out to the client. We sit down with the event planner and the client, and we get everything that they want to know. And we can take a bare minimum and turn it into a winter wonderland, whatever they're looking for. And our creativity provides a unique experience. We don't just go in and we say, okay, we're gonna put some centerpieces on the table and candles around the room. No, we're gonna turn that room into something that you could not possibly believe. We're gonna drape it, we're gonna put some sparkle to it, we're gonna add a little pizzazz to it, so that you're excited, that your event is actually what you dreamed about. Every little girl dreams about a wedding that is just a fairy tale. I'm Snow White, and I'm getting ready to have my ball. We provide all of this, all the need. We don't ask for anything. We have all the supplies. We have the drapes. We have the flowers. We can provide live flowers. We can provide artificial flowers, whatever you want. That's what we are all about. And our creativity, what goes on in our heads, makes all of that a possibility. So we take a small, plain room and we turn it into things like this.
So in 2022, there were an estimated 87,000 plus weddings in the Las Vegas area alone. The average cost of those weddings, and we know Las Vegas is the marriage wedding capital of the world, or whatever it is. The average cost is about 28,000, a little more. And that can range from just going to the justice of the peace to these elaborate weddings that people have. It just depends on what the bride or the groom or what their finances call for, what their desire is. Of that costs, 10 to 17% is spent on decor and design. So a wedding that hosts 100 people could cost $2,800 in design alone. That's from centerpieces to the decor, even if it's the tablescapes or what your sweetheart tables or your treat tables, whatever element you want in your event. That was an average cost for that. And banquets running about 35 to 5,000 just for decor for a banquet of 350 people.
We provide a premium event decor service, which when saying premium, we provide top quality materials. Our draping, for example, we don't come in and just throw in a draping of standard. We design those drapes. You may see flowers, diamonds, gems, all on our draping. And then you'll see the centerpieces and the tables, they will match that draping. We do backdrops, we do all of those things. We are reliable, we provide a reliable service. So we're gonna be there early enough so that when your event happens, everything is set up. We are also going to break down that event. You don't have to worry about, oh, well, what's gonna happen, who's gonna come in and break down. We take care of the setup and the breakdown. And our goal is to do one event per month for the first year, increasing over the next 2 to 5 years. We're planning to do at least 2 to 3 events a month, with leaving room if we get more business or if we get more clients wanting an event done, that we will have that time to be able to do that. And our primary source of revenue will come from doing these events, from doing weddings and banquets. And we are not adverse to doing smaller events as well.
So these are some of the competitors that we have either worked with or we know of. Event creations in Vegas Valley Balloons, they are primarily balloon planners. They do the garland with the balloons. They may attach their balloons with the draping, or they may provide a backdrop made out of balloons. that's where their expertise is. They may do other things, but that's their expertise. They primarily work with the balloons. We, however, would be outsourcing the balloons because we don't do that at this point in time. So we would be outsourcing or subcontracting for that. Creative Creations and the Lady Adeline, they are both, they do draping, they do a lot of centerpieces, they set up rooms, primarily what we do. The difference is that we may use more premium fabric, or we may do a different design that would cost more, bring our cost factor up versus what they do, the type of material that they use.
As we said, this is Tanya Fortson. Tanya Fortson is a former FBI employee. She retired after 34 years of service. And I am originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I worked with the Gaming Control Board for 30 years. And how we got started was at church, basically at church. We have an annual team, and we were transforming this room every year. And we were watching, at that time, David Tara. And we said, you know what, this might be something that we could do. We've transformed this room year after year after year, to the point that if we did a table, I would do, 150 different napkins. And I would do every year, I came up with a different design for those napkins. Then we moved on to an organization that we work with, and they came in and they had somebody come in and do flowers, and they did centerpieces, and I think they charged $100 for those centerpieces. And it was a vase, a flower, one flower, one vase. And I looked at her and I said, you know what, we can do this, but we can do it better. And from there, we've been doing this banquet for roughly 7 to 10 years now. And we're looking to expand. We had training with iWed where they taught us the draping, the materials that we needed to use, how to be efficient with it, and how to be effective.
So what we're asking is, what we're looking for is to get put in front of people that can help us to move forward. Our event planners, our venue owners, our corporate banquet facilitators, so that they can see the work that we do. We can build partnerships and start working toward building our brand, building our business. We know we have the skill set, and we just need to be put out and get in front of the people that can help us move our business forward.
Any questions? Oh, I got one, Rich.
Such questions, feedback. First of all, I want to congratulate you on the presentation and for taking advantage of this program. Oftentimes, what we hope to get out of something like this is geared towards beginners, is that they learn to identify who their investors are and the client base. And so those are universal things you can take across in the industry. Yours is obviously professional services. And from seeing this, if you were looking for funding, your model would probably be well suited to go to a bank and bring out and ask for a loan or something like that. Private investment might be more difficult unless it's coming from friends and family who will be vested in you and trust you and know that success. You can do that. But from a banking standpoint, being able to communicate clearly, know your competition, having that confidence in your pitch is super important, and that is something that's often from a loan officer will respond with that. And honestly, the amount of information you have there, your presentation is already 75% more complete from a business plan that we said probably people see on average, and go in and ask for big loans. So that sort of confidence and then continuing to learn those details about your business is super important, and that's really good for you to have that. Like, great job, thank you, and keep at it. Like, you know, obviously your model is very different than everyone else is pitching, but that doesn't mean that you can't benefit from the baseline of the skills that you're being taught in the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, and plus one, and I agree that our organization works with GoEd under this SSBCI program, where they match the investments that we make. But 2/3 of that SSBCI program is about getting bank loans for small and medium-sized businesses. And if you've not heard of this program before, just make sure that we talk or get in touch with each other after the fact. Because that, I'm sure you know about the one part of the SSBCI program. That state actually will guarantee a piece of the loan if you fall within the criteria. So it's certainly something that we'll look into. Get some money. It's a loan, it's not an investment. I think your business, like Rachel said, I think your business is probably better. If you need the capital.
Thank you.
I was curious, are you connected with Lynn Lloyd, the county clerk that runs the wedding bureau down the street, blah. If you're not, I can connect you, she's a long time friend. And we're aware the wedding bureau has connections all over the world to the feedback to the wedding industry here, and a bunch of different trade organizations that don't involve the wedding chapels directly involved. But I think any of them would be interested in talking with you, particularly what really intriguing is your background with the FBI and gaming work. You know, that's a pretty good indication that you're pretty trustworthy. So I think you should really leverage that when you talk with the wedding. Because there are a lot of fun plans sometimes associated with the wedding industry. And that's substantial with your background.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. And did you have a question?
They already know how to. We need to do this. How do we do this? How do we do this? Okay. Rachel already touched on it. Do feedback on it. You've done what this program attempts to do, because you're gonna. I want everybody to know this. They started out in one direction. They pivoted two key directions. Number one, they figured out that they needed to hone in on the clientele and pay them what people bring for the services and the expertise that they bring to the table. And then number two, they did go through the machinations of figuring out maybe they're not necessarily investor ready or the investment type of business, but they did figure out a few weeks ago, absolutely they need to be looking at getting a loan. So for me, for you to independently say that in an unsolicited manner, y'all know y'all on the right track for getting a business loan.
Good job, Steve. Thanks. Awesome.
All right. Thank you, Lawrence. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. My name is Lawrence and I am the Cheesecake Man, apparently the Cheesecake Man of Las Vegas. I have a company called The Sound of Cheesecake, which I started back in New York, and I decided to dissolve it because I had garnered enough capital to move my family here. And since time, we kind of split it, but we decided to stay in co-parent. The pandemic made me realize that this delivery option is an option. I decided to start this thing back up about a year and a half ago. So, identify the problem. One of the biggest things that I noticed about Las Vegas that's very different from New York is that there's no dedicated cheesecake facility in Las Vegas, right? Most people, when they come to Las Vegas to visit, or they're coming from out of town, or even the local community, recognize the Cheesecake Factory, right? The Cheesecake Factory sells a number of things, right? Besides cheesecake, most people go there for dinner. By the time the dessert comes, they don't have room for it. So they're either going there specifically for some regular cheesecake or some flavored cheesecake, or they go somewhere else, right? Somewhere else could be some of these little dessert lounges in Spring Mountain area, Chinatown. It doesn't really offer the same thing that I offer. So that was one of the biggest problems that I identified in Las Vegas, that there's no dedicated cheesecake place like there is at Junior's in New York or Eli's in Chicago. Or there's some venues in Los Angeles that are really known for their cheesecake, but not really in Las Vegas. And that is a bad thing to me because Las Vegas is a very popular city. In fact, one of the most popular cities in the world. The second problem is that there's not enough unique flavors. Cheesecake Factory, the Sweet Spot, and some of the other dessert lounges or dessert places in Chinatown and around town, certain bakeries, offer plain cheesecake and some of your basic varieties like maybe a strawberry cheesecake or a raspberry swirl, something like that, but not something that would please and satisfy the mature and luxurious palate. That's what we're looking at. The Sound of Cheesecake, we offer exotic cheesecakes. As you have sampled so far, we have the plain, of course, and we have the Valentine's, which is the strawberry topping. But our exotics start with the pumpkin cognac, the coconut rum, the amaretto mocha, as well as the coffee Kahlua, which happens to be a lot of folks' favorite that are mature because they like to have that little robust coffee flavor with the cheesecake and the coffee. This kind of works. Also, there is not a dedicated cheesecake bar. Donut places, there's basic bakeries and stuff like that. You can find cakes and a variety of different things, but to find a designated and dedicated cheesecake bar in Las Vegas would be a great addition to the cityscape. Imagine a tourist coming in for the sole purpose of trying the Vegas brand cheesecake, the Sound of Cheesecake. That is Vegas's own, and people know about it. They're going to come. The locals will talk about it. They will come. The hotels are going to want to have this in their hotel, guaranteed. And as you noticed, this is our product. Again, we have 6 flavors currently. We will expand to another flavor in the next year just to kind of keep it lively and vibrant. Now, basically, in the year of 2020, the cheesecake industry garnered $18 billion worldwide. This is including the dominant sectors of North America and Europe, which is where cheesecake is more widely known. Some of the other areas that started to trickle in based on our US relations with other countries such as India and China. Now these regions have entered the cheesecake market, which bolsters this number to about 18 billion now because more and more people from different countries are starting to really adopt this dessert more so than cupcakes and some of your other, lesser desserts. Also, there's a growing number of millennials and Gen Z citizens who like to have cheesecake on their platter beyond the cupcake. The cupcake fad was kind of a fad now, and it's kind of subsided. So I think they're looking forward to the newest and next dessert that is a little more high-end mixed with. In North America alone, it garnered about 6.26 billion. And that's just in North America. The demand for cheesecake basically is that New York flavor or that New York textured brand cheesecake. Started to spill into Philadelphia, and now the West Coast is starting to get it with a large number in California, coming in at, I believe, at 15. Las Vegas comes in at 20th ranked as the most demanded city for frozen cheesecake or chilled cheesecake. With that kind of number, it comes into about 0.29% in the country for cheesecake demand. When you break that down from 6.26 billion divided by 0.29% demand in Las Vegas, that's a size, that's about 17, almost 18 million for Las Vegas alone, right? Cutting into that number with the amount of bakeries that started up in Las Vegas from since 2000 up until now has increased to about, I would say, between 3 to 5% in growth. And that's based on the fact that people have taken that recession money, or not the recession money, but the pandemic money, and decided they want a career change. And bakery seemed to be the option. So the numbers, based on InfoArc online, they're estimating that the cheesecake growth will go from about 3 to 4% between 2020 and 2026. So this is a viable option and a great market to break into, especially creating this market here in Las Vegas. Based on the numbers of how much we can produce in an actual shop, with retail sales for a year, along with in-house sales to other businesses, hotel chains, door-to-door service as well. We estimate in 3 years we can make up to about $1 million. And this is with combining all of our go-to market strategies and everything. Our competition, like I was speaking briefly about earlier, the Cheesecake Factory. They do not provide an exotic flavor of cheesecake, not the same type that you are actually witnessing right now. Dedicated cheesecake brand of Las Vegas. Not even the Sweet Spot or Sweet Eats can compete with that particular aspect because they are general dessert lounges. They offer a plethora of desserts. And so convoluted is the thing that I think when I look at these spots. When you want a dedicated cheesecake spot, the sound of cheesecake will be that place. We will have the Cheesecake Bar. Like I said earlier, there's donut bars, cupcake places. It's not a cheesecake bar. And that's the newest trend that I know will happen in Las Vegas. Relaxing musical vibe. Now, I'm a musician. I started this sound of cheesecake back in 2010, right? And this is when I wasn't touring. I decided, you know what? A young lady that I was dating at the time asked me to make a dessert for Thanksgiving. And she mentioned that she had a pumpkin cognac cheesecake at a dessert lounge in Little Italy in New York. She never found it again because the spot closed. And so I found a few recipes online. I came up with my own little tweaks and stuff like that. And I came up with a pumpkin cognac cheesecake. She said I should sell it. Well, all right, fine. Family and friends. Yeah, you should sell this. So I started to pair them. Said, well, I'll sell it with a CD. And so I started producing smooth jazz CDs to pair with the sale of the cheesecake. So not only did I tally the sales of the CD, I tallied the sale of a cheesecake. And it provided a pleasurable experience for everyone who bought it because they played the CD as their soundtrack. So with that being said, the relaxing musical vibe comes into the shop where I bring in a local artist to perform. He gets paid, or she gets paid, provides a nice closing experience. Business model. Cost of the personals cost me anywhere between $1.80 to $2 to make per person, which is our most popular product. With the retail sales, we can sell them anywhere from $3 to $4, depending on the plain or any exotic flavor, go to $4. We currently have the 6, the dozen, and the classic 8-inch round, which you saw in the earlier slide. We plan on using a number of online delivery sales options between DoorDash, in-house delivery services, as well as Grubhub and Uber Eats. Wholesale options with other restaurants, caterer companies, and hotel facilities, buffet bars, and places of that nature as well. And catering as well. We will offer catering service and provide a cheesecake bar with actual music, maybe a live musician, or an actual soundtrack from music that I produce, so we will run into any licensing issues. And that's some of the ways that we will plan on making money with this brand. Marketing strategy will include social media, and that includes our currently operating platforms of Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, email, flyer distribution, which we currently have, and of course, word of mouth, which is the tried and tested, surefire way to market a product. Our team consists of yours truly, Dr. Postolak, also known as Delph Clemenco. He's in the San Francisco Bay Area. He is a social media manager for a number of different entities and music artists primarily. He has worked with MC Light, Pete Rock, DJ Premier, and a number of other artists. He's built up the online presence for Donko Kids. If you are aware of Donko Kids, they make bedding furniture and actual room furniture for children. And they actually garnered a huge online reputation because of this man's work. So because he's a personal friend of mine, he's on board. Michelle Matthews is one of my siblings in New York. She has a company called Cakes Unscripted, and she's building that up. She realized that I need help with email, so she's jumping on board as well. My son, Jordan Crowder, you probably met him earlier. He is my quality control. He tastes a random sample of cheesecakes to make sure that they actually. When he tastes the random batch just to make sure, you know what, Dad, this doesn't have the sugar that it needs, or this one looks a little wonky, you should probably put this in this. So his personal favorites are the coffee Kahlua and the Valentine. Anyways, moving right along is Mark Schaefer. Last but not least, Mark Schaefer is a known entity in Las Vegas. He's the owner of My Vegas Magazine. We have been friends for about 7 years. I've been his personal musical engineer and teacher. And he and I, over the years, have become great friends. He's basically been a huge inspiration and a big help as far as some of my business moves with the Sound of Cheesecake, based on his expertise and experience in business. My ask is about $180,000. Now, this will consist of about 6% in fees, and that will range from music licensing blanket to make sure the musicians that are performing or the music that I play is properly compensated, because I'm a musician and it's only fair. It goes into covering health costs, building homes, and etc. 33% will go into renting a space, whether it be a turnkey or another option similar. Startup equipment from blenders, mixers, all the props, boxes, and everything that we need to create the product. And a small delivery vehicle, we're looking probably at a used option, something inexpensive that we could put a small freezer in to get it going, and then we can expand to getting the actual Sprinter and bigger trucks at some point. 21% will go into a salaried worker, because I cannot do it alone. I need somebody to man the desk and take the calls if I'm out doing deliveries or garnering up other business. So that will go into at least one worker before I can garner up enough revenue to be able to hire another worker to do dedicated deliveries and build it from there. 40%, which is important to me, goes into marketing. Marketing to me is the make or break of any company, and I'm pretty sure you all know that as well. There are a handful of soul food restaurants in Las Vegas, and if you're a fan of soul food, there's not many great options in Las Vegas. I know of one that's really good, but nobody knows about them. If they spent part of their budget or a significant chunk of their budget on advertising and marketing, they can increase their radius by at least 5 to 10 miles and get way more business. But they're more focused on, making money, and I get it. But I think that if we put a significant amount into marketing, up to 40%, we can garner billboards, not only print ads, newspapers, radio stations, the local TV stations. We can actually supply them with content and make sure that people visiting Vegas can see a billboard on the way at the airport, down that drive into the resort corridor, the Sound of Cheesecake, and a little QR code to scan or a number to call. Make your order today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. Appreciate it, and thank you so much for listening. Again, my name is Lawrence Blendman. My product is the Sound of Cheesecake. It really does taste as good as it sounds.
Thank you, Lawrence. Any questions for Lawrence?
Oh, boy, just forget the jazz and the cheesecake. Well, and you covered all the elements. Nice job. Thank you.
Question over there. Yes. One question is, what is, have you thought about cheesecake flights? Because this was the perfect size. Cheesecake flights, like, now they have a beer, yeah, where they have a sample of like 1 or 2 or 3 on a plate. And that was my first question, was, have you thought about flights like that? The second was, I think the idea is great in the sense that there's a lot of people that go out to the theater or will go out for a show and want to go somewhere afterwards just for desserts. And there really isn't a place like that, just like you stated. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, the question I was going to ask is, this may be complicated. How soon, or do you see eventually getting to the point where you could make this something that could be invested in and then potentially sold?
Yes, I had given some considerable thought to franchising once this model is well-oiled and running in Las Vegas. I believe other cities will start to see the pattern of what we're doing here and want to kind of adopt the same thing. So we would definitely looking at franchising or growing into other, cities. So yes, absolutely.
What's your ideal customer?
My ideal customer would be, I guess, anywhere from about 25 to, 45, 50. Someone who is a theater goer, likes to go to shows and that sort of thing and needs something for dessert, or just someone with an exquisite palate, maybe a medium income of, like I said, 75K to about 100, maybe above. But minimum of 75K, which would actually appreciate something like an exotic cheesecake as such, and not want to have to go through mazes and mazes of a hotel to get a restaurant that has a cheesecake that they tried last year, and they, screw that. We have a cheesecake here, and that's the kind of customer that we're looking for.
One of the things that, I feel maybe you would work a little bit more. Vegas is like a very weird market, so I couldn't tell from what you were talking about if you were aiming to kind of make your cheesecake kind of like create that regional cheesecake identity, or if you were going for just tourists who just love cheesecake and the venue.
Right.
So that to me seems a little confusing because obviously, cultural food, you're right, there isn't like a cultural dish for this region, so we don't have that, because we're so transient.
Exactly.
So if that was the case, then that didn't come out clearly, because obviously those things have to kind of come, virgin. So I would maybe, if that was the angle that you're going to, maybe really focus on the exoticness and like maybe the tagline that it's flavors inspired by the Southwest or something like that that anchors you to here, because most of these sort of which and we know when juniors is successful, juniors is successful because it identifies and reiterates that identity from you.
Right.
It has that immigrant story, it grows up, everyone, for the longest time, you won't get it in Brooklyn.
Right.
So that was kind of like a destination meal that had the cachet that was identified with New York.
Yes.
That is not there. So if you wanted to appeal for locals, I feel that it would have to have it in a brick better. Or if it's just gonna be for tourists, you're gonna have to be careful with how easy it is for you to get those tourists off strip. Because then if, and you mentioned selling to hotels, I see this a lot that people but they don't realize that hotels, because they buy get much better prices than buying it from an outsourced. So then that always is kind of like a barrier for people that they have this great product when the hotels really are not in the market for it because they can do it cheaper.
Right.
So just things.
I think,
That's one last question.
one last question. Oh, sorry.
Okay, two questions. How much does your cheesecake cost, to buy? And the second question is, have you thought about shipping to other states or is that on the?
Okay. Yes. So the sixes come at between $18 for the plains and $20 for the exotic flavors. For the dozens, they come at about 30 to 35, depending on what flavor you get. 8-inch rounds come into about $35 to $40. As far as shipping, we did do shipping for a period of time, but it was killing our overhead because it cost more to ship than the actual product to sell. So we decided to just keep it home until shipping was a more of a viable option.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we'd be pushing that cost for the customer, and that's not fair.
Hello, everyone. My name is Chad Curtis, and I am the founder and CEO of Desert Orchard Retreat. As you've been seeing up here, addressing the naked truths about a severely underserved market. This presentation is a touch spicy, not bad, but just be prepared. Okay. The truth is that, let's go back to here for a second. When my husband and I moved here about 3 years ago from Missouri, we are RVers and we loved to go to the gay campgrounds that were around. Because when you're other, it's nice to be around other people that get you. So it was something that we enjoyed. Some of these campgrounds are family-oriented gay campgrounds, and some are spicy gay campgrounds. And in the many Facebook and social media fora that are for people that are like-minded, there's always a question. This is the map of the eastern half of the US. This is how abundant these campgrounds are. Now, it's very likely that if this is not your thing, you didn't know this, and that's okay. But back east, it's abundant, they're super popular. Many of them have wait lists just to get in on certain weekends, and they're very lucrative. But the question we asked when we moved out to Vegas was, okay, so where do we go? And you know what we found? Oregon and Tucson. That's it. For this entire region, there are two. And we're getting into why those two are underserving as well. But the West is severely underserved when it comes to this niche market. So the proposal is for what we're calling Desert Orchard Retreat. It's a clothing optional private facility for day campers. And it's, again, popular back east, rare as can be out west here. Now, again, it's acting up on my fonts, and I really wasn't expecting you to read all this because Maggie warned me. But what I wanted to show you was that this is from one forum in 1 week, 6 different people asking, where do I do this in the West? Where is it in the West that we can go to? And the answer is Oregon or Tucson. Okay, so there's a definite underserved market here. Sorry about the formatting. We've been looking in the area near Meadview, Arizona for a place to be able to get up into the mountains, away from the heat, but still be able to offer a year-round RV camp. We will put cabins in so that glampers that want to come in can do that. If you want to pitch a tent, you can pitch a tent. We'll have day passes for those who want to just come in for the day. And then once you are inside the facility itself, it is all clothing optional. And yes, we've been working very closely with the county to know what we can and can't do. And in fact, we've already got their county attorney in favor of us, which is a good thing. Okay, so why did we choose Meadview? It's full of outdoor activities. Camping, hiking, boating. You can go to Lake Mead in 2 different directions from there. Jet skiing, off-roading, all kinds of those sorts of things. Now, I promise that this next part is not geometry, okay? But what I did want to show was how Interstate 11, the Vegas to Phoenix highway, crosses the Southern Cal to Grand Canyon highway about Interstate 40, and there's only like 4 ways out of Southern California. At Kingman, Meadview is just north of that. In fact, the little baby G you see here is the western Grand Canyon rim, which will be about 25 minutes from where we're proposing to put the facility in. So it's got what people are looking for. Additionally, said it was cooler. We'll have all the amenities you expect in a campground. 25 degrees cooler than what you're going to find in Phoenix or Palm Springs or something like that, even in the height of July and August. And Vegas, it's important. It's hiding off the bottom here. It's not just entertainment. It's also, there are all kinds of RV service and repair and parts places here. Winnebago's got a huge facility up in North Las Vegas. And a lot of the people that are doing full-time RVing or snowbird RVing are veterans. And so they can take advantage of not just the doctors in the area here, but how well established the VA is. Okay, wow, that looks like a mess, but it's my Cam Samsung as best as it can be at this point. So the gay population in the United States is estimated at 5.6 million people. If you do just the short 1 day's drive from Meadview, you get Vegas, Phoenix, and Southern California, 33 million people, 560,000 of which estimated are gay men. If you expand to a longer day's drive, you pull the Bay Area in, and that almost doubles it. And by the way, this represents almost 18% of the entire gay population in the country underserved. Okay, and I'm going to go through some numbers here, but for our SOM, our yearly low gross, meaning at the low end, we're expecting 2.2 million by year 5. Obviously, it'll take a couple of years to get going, but like I said, this is a service that we know the people are looking for, are willing to travel to and pay for. Speaking of pay, what are my revenue sources? Well, that 2.2 million number was based merely on campsite use fees. I did not include any of this other. Just I'd rather under-promise than and over-deliver. So campsite use fees, absolutely. There'll be yearly memberships, and people who want day passes can do that. We're putting in a clubhouse and in the process of looking at being able to get a liquor license so that we can serve alcohol on site. This is a huge one. Most of those camps you saw on the screen on the East Coast at this moment are closed. It's winter time. Okay, and so the RVers, in particular the full-time RVers, who have been spending all of their summer up in the Northeast and that sort of thing, the ones in the South, like Texas and Florida, that can go year-round, the day reservations open for snowbirders, it's closed. It's that fast. So we expect that we would be able to easily draw snowbirds here. At the camp store, we think sunscreen is going to be a must, amongst other things. And by the way, if you thought I brought a dry erase marker with me, nope, that is a one-time use sunscreen. How cool is that, huh? We got it at a parade down, a Pride parade. Scalability, the plans and the numbers that I've been using are based on 10 acres. The property that we're looking at is 30 acres. So we would have room for a phase 2, possibly a phase 3, depending upon how successful things go. And replicability, you know what? Denver is also underserved. Minneapolis is also underserved. Sacramento could get the Bay Area and the mountains. They wouldn't necessarily be year-round, but this template could be replicated to other places, which is also important. So again, based on the camp fees only, if we were 100% sold 100% of the time, we would expect $4.8 million a year as revenue. At the low end, which is, as we calculated as 50% occupancy weekdays, 80% occupancy weekends, we're expecting the 2.2 million. And again, this is just camp fees. This is none of that other stuff. It's sneaking off down here, but we expect that the cost of doing business is going to be about $1 million a year. Mostly, once everything is installed and up and running, mostly electricity. Where we are out there, we'll be on well water, free. We're going to be using septic. Once that's in, it's free. So electricity and then the salaries and the things that people need for being able to run a place like this. Now, I brought up the competition, and again, Oregon, Tucson. But here's the thing, even these two places, they're not the Oregon one is not a 4-season place. They do not have spaces for the large RVs, which are so popular today. And there's no hookups there. It's just a parking pad. You don't have anything to connect your sewer, your water, your power. No, not there. At the Tucson side over here, similarly, it's old. It doesn't have the room for, they never expected these 45 and 50-foot long rigs. So if you're longer than 30 feet, you have to call ahead to make sure that the 1 or 2 spots that can handle something longer are free. Also, they only have 30 amp power at the site. That's less than a third of the power that today's RVs require. So that's another way another spot where we are going to have the advantage over the competition. Who am I? Well, my background is as a network news logistics producer. I got my start in television news here in Las Vegas at Channel 3, and then eventually moved to NBC Network. I've been involved with Super Bowls, Olympics, the political conventions, Ground Zero. My 10th day on the job was the Oklahoma City bombing. So, and all of a sudden, all the phones are ringing and everybody wants to know how I'm going to get their satellite signals in the sky. That was a lot of fun. And don't even get me started on March Madness. The logistics of March Madness is nuts. I eventually, having gained a master's degree, decided to move into education. I taught at 2 universities over 13, 14 years. And then my last one, I kind of got what I call a retirement, the COVID retirement you can't refuse, because I was contracted and they decided not to do that anymore. Also on the team is Mike Kim, who is a licensed professional engineer. He and his wife are also full-time RVers, and he has built and designed dozens of RV campgrounds. And he is very, very excited about this one. He sees a lot of potential there in what we're doing. And it's covered up here, but yeah, he is a Marine Corps veteran. It was the part that you can't see, but I can. Okay, so let's talk investment opportunity. I'll be frank, I'm not sure that investment is exactly the way that I want to go here. I might be a little bit more loan oriented, but if somebody really wanted to invest in this, our preliminary valuation is at $4 to $5 million at the 5-year mark. And since this is what I'm referring to as a cactus and mortar project, the capital to build has to be there up front, because you can't have customers if the facilities aren't there. So recognizing that that is the case, I am saying that for a $1 million investment, we would be willing to give 20% equity, and it would go toward purchasing the land, doing the engineering, the permitting, the construction, the amenities, all those sorts of things to get everything ready to welcome the crowds that will very, very likely be coming our way. So again, it kind of sneaks off here, but you've got my email address right here. You can kind of figure out my phone number if you need to there. And with that, I would welcome any questions.
Yeah, that question.
I actually have a comment.
Okay.
So when I was investigating the law was passed here about doing more angel investing intrastate in Nevada. We kind of patterned it off a law that they have in Arizona, which allows any Arizona to invest in commercial property and development kind of investments. Mostly they envision things like this, like resorts and things like this. So there may be some really interesting investment opportunities you can take advantage of in Arizona from Arizona. If you're recruiting from Arizona, you couldn't recruit from us because
right. I actually have an appointment next week with the economic development head.
It's really, I like that.
But yes, and just so that it's on the table, we originally did look at Clark County, and they could not figure out what did it look like in the zoning. And eventually they decided that the only place they could be is it had to be around Sahara. And it's like, yeah, you're not going to get a 30-acre campground there. Yes.
When Clark County would it be working?
When I called the planning and zoning.
Okay.
So I talked with several different people there and got several different.
We'll look at that.
Okay.
Words. And then the second part is just kind of comments, feedback, and so I'm going to do something that I never really do, and suggest you expand maybe or go further. I actually think one is a good idea because that particular just the gay community, our market share is under. We're not taking advantage of Palm Springs EDR.
Yeah.
We don't have a signature event, we don't have anything, and it's leaving a lot of money to that. Why, I don't know, it seems like it's like a dog, and here we are. The second part is I would probably think you guys look internationally. I have worked with French companies before and toured. The French tour operators actually sell the Southwest because they come in and they do a whole thing. The Southwest is very compelling to Europeans because they do not can't even fathom the scale, and they have nothing in there that competes with it. So you might want to look at expanding sort of the destination and the tour component if you want to do that. And I actually think probably be very successful and have more barriers of entry and started off with that international.
Thank you.
Then you did.
It is a little bit of a tightrope walk because there are countries out there where gay people are executed.
No,
still.
absolutely.
So we have to be careful about where we do that sort of thing. But I appreciate that. But Yeah, I appreciate, no, France is not,
I think it's Canada.
and as I was land hunting, I ran into German tourist bus all the time. Like I mentioned, it's on the road to the Western Grand Canyon. So there were tour bus after tour bus after tour bus, so. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
As there, and probably local market share if you are filling it and use an international destination. And look at,
Mhm.
you know, that's why people go.
Yes, exactly. No, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
I mean, this has got to be a real estate investors. Really, it's got to be right in the sweet spot. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, once since it's so front heavy, it has to be done up front. Then it's a matter of maintenance and cashing the checks.
Yeah, because that was gonna be my, what I was interested in is what trash going front development cost? Is it the 1 million or is it more than?
It, my consultant estimated it somewhere between 900,000 and $1.5 million.
That's not bad. Okay, and Rachel, I may have some more contacts.
Okay.
Because primarily change names. There were several of my members that focused on that property.
Okay. Well,
I'm gonna mention one name starting to get Cole Williams. Is that right?
my scribe, my husband back here in the corner, is taking notes right now. So.
And she's tapped into local, regional, national, maybe even international.
Thank you. Hi, yes.
What's your use of funds at one time?
I'm sorry, what is what?
What are you using the funds for?
The ask of $1 million? Yeah, it kind of got cut off there and I apologize, but the acquisition of the land, then building all the facilities because you need RV pads, you need offices, camp store, swimming pool, volleyball courts, all the infrastructure, and that's going to take a commercial size well to pump water up for that, and it's going to take a commercial size septic, which is expensive, as I have come to learn, but it would all fit within that range. Yes.
I just want to say it's really cool.
Oh, well, thanks.
I think you're gonna kill it.
Thank you.
There's two places that come to mind if you ever think about going to California, of course, like,
Mhm.
but randomly I ran across this random city called California City. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but apparently.
Is that up? Yeah, oh, that's across from Pahrump. That's, yeah, it's, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a random fact, it's the third largest like land thing or whatever
Mhm.
in California, but they have so much of the infrastructure already built.
Right.
Ground.
No, I'm very familiar with them. The tricky part of California is it's incredibly. Actually, the tax structure in California would really be killer.
Yeah, no, for
So
sure. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that.
West Virginia, California,
So
I did the same thing.
you need to. By the way, the planning and zoning in Mojave County, my planner absolutely loves me in this project. Because she's like, she goes into her staff meeting and the others are like, well, this petition is to get 6 inches more curb cut. And she's like, we get to talk about the gay naked retreat. So.
Rachel's like,
The county is very. But if, I don't object to Clark County if we can figure something out. Yeah. And the crossroad thing would just be a little bit different. It'd be coming up through Searchlight more than likely for the land for it.
I have a question before you, Brandon, do you have a question?
I'm just gonna ask about, prior to operation, is the $1 million ask down payment, or is that the full cost of everything? Is it any operations like reserves there?
The $1 million a year for costs or the $1 million ask? Okay, so the ask again is for all of that upfront stuff. And if there is other left over at the end, which everybody knows never happens, but if there was, yes, it would probably go into reserves. So that, we've got somewhere to go if we need to, as things are getting ramped up and started.
Okay, we won't belabor because of the time here. Two things.
Okay.
To build on what you just said, I would recommend in your initial development budget ambitiously put a year's worth of operations, at least 6 months.
Okay.
And then the other thing I'm gonna plant the seed about, we have an offline about it, is if you have the assets to purchase the land and then turn around and leverage that land that you own, that may help your financing. But like I said, plant the seed, we can talk. It's what I used to do in another life.
Yes, I understand. And the particular property that we're looking at is a distressed property and is one that we've got to work through some stuff on. But yeah, if that would be owner or sweat equity sort of investment by purchasing that in advance. And then Mike, the consultant, is the one who would make sure before we purchase that the land could accomplish what we're asking it to do.
I just want to give you a shout out. I know you were debating whether or not you wanted to come up here because you felt it was a sensitive topic. I think you did a phenomenal job.
I did.
Great.
Okay, well, what a fun afternoon. I mean, really, and a really fun one to end on too. So our great Senator Jackie Rosen has provided some certificates of recognition for members of this class. All right, so unfortunately, he forgot want to. So we're short. So yours is missing. I'm sorry, it's not here. So I don't know how that got messed up, but it did. But we have certificates of recognition from the senator. So I'd like to call everybody up, or call everybody up by one. For all who remain, we'll get some certificates. So everybody get your cameras ready so that we can do this. So we'll just start from the top here. Jared, you're up first. Jared. Okay, gotta get it.
Okay.
Okay, ready to go?
Yes.
Mary, Applewhite, come on. There you go. I guess I can keep doing it. Are we good?
No,
Oh, okay, I thought we were looking at. Is this the one we're looking at or no?
But you're looking at that for online, so it's part of the report, but it's better stuff. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you. All right. Next up, Chad Curtis.
I just finished.
I know, I thought, did he leave already?
Nope, I'm right here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
sorry about that. Brandon. All right, Brandon.
Now, what a lot of you don't know is how many times Brandon pivoted in our 10 weeks.
Yeah.
And yet, would you have any idea that he's only had this particular idea for about 3 days?
Good job.
Hang on, we gotta hang on. Do it this way, but I think better this way.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, yes, come on. You come up too. I'll take a picture. Thank you. There you go. Awesome.
Jared is so poised. Hang on, I know. That's a lot.
Pretty picture. Yeah.
Wait, I don't have that certificate in it.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you. JJ.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay.
Thank you.
I think I'll put these pictures in Slack so you guys can find them there.
And last but not least, John.
Now look at me. Good job.
And thank you, everybody, for coming out today. And what a great ending to, 11 long weeks of hard work. So I hope we'll see all of you in the next iteration under Incubate NV or Founder University to take these ideas to the next step. Thanks so much for trusting us with your time and your ideas and your energy over the last 11 weeks. I'm honored to be among you and looking forward to see what comes of all this. So thanks again, and please, one last bit of applause. Clark County. Because we're back.
If you want
Thank you, Clark County.
Well, I want to thank everyone for taking the time today to hear everything. It's so difficult and for your time investment. It's a really unique type of person who will have that dedication and commitment. And one of the things that today really showed is that what is different about entrepreneurs is that when other people see failure, they see opportunity. So I hope that you really take what you learned today and just keep going. If it wasn't perfect, guess what? No one is perfect. Let's try. And so don't be discouraged and have that confidence in yourself. Maggie and Jeff have our contact information for something. If you want to schedule a follow-up meeting or you have some questions or anything, they can go ahead and put you in contact with us. And yeah, good luck and keep going.
Keep going. Only time you fail is when you quit trying. Thanks again, everybody.